Greetings, true believers. This is Stan Lee. And with me on this wonderful podcast, we're going to talk about Marvel movies.
Stan? Stan, is that you?
Stan Lee in the flesh.
We should start talking like Stan. We have Stan Lee this week.
That's
he
right.
He agreed to do an interview with us.
And I'm a bit younger,
and he's not
too.
He's going to do an interview. He's going to actually, talk with us and hang out.
Definitely going to
talk. He's finally going to give us his opinion for all the Marvel films and the Marvel characters.
And they all sucked.
But it's true, though. Stan Lee doesn't like to give his opinion, right?
No.
Because he said that he doesn't want to make people angry.
No.
Which is, it's good. It's good.
No, that's good, yeah, I know.
Now, as you know,
Hi. Oh, wait, sorry, Stan, are you here?
Yes, I am. I'm right over here.
Stan,
Phil.
I'm really glad you can join us.
Well,
I'm
this
happy
is
you
all
agreed to do this with us, and I really wanted to
I
just
know.
ask you. Sorry to interrupt you there for a second. I really wanted to ask you, Stan.
Yes.
What is your opinion on, just give me a random opinion on any Marvel film.
Well, they got a lot of things wrong. First of all, I had this whole book full of appendices that they didn't want to read.
What a shame.
And I had a lot of, so...
I can't do this.
Oh, Stan, I know you're losing your voice. You're kind of old. I know.
I'm a bit younger than I used to be. It's reverse aging. It's just the way it goes.
Is this some kind of new technology that they made from your comics?
Yes.
I'm glad.
Stan, I must know, what are your thoughts on Punisher Warzone?
I love that film. Every time I watch it with my family and with my grandkids and their grandkids, we loved it. It's great.
Stan, could you tell me what is Punisher Warzone? I'm afraid
It's
I'm
a
not
G-rated
familiar.
comedy film for families. It's full of wonderful sayings and morals, and
Wait, is Punisher Warzone? Is that
It's this.
the Skull guy? What's his name? The Punisher. right?
Punisher.
Yes.
Wow. No, because I didn't know. I thought maybe that's like a subtitle, like Punisher Warzone. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna
Yeah.
go to the Punisher Warzone or something.
Okay, so I'm going to be doing that impression most of the time. We're going to be talking about
Marvel movies.
Okay, I can't scream like that, but yes,
Marvel.
this is Phil Dragish. With me is Jake Dragish. We're movie fans, as you know. We like watching movies. We like making movies. And we're here with Luke once more, and he's a great hero, and he knows a lot about Marvel comics and a lot about DC comics. He knows a lot about comics in general. Hello, Luke. Welcome back.
Hello, thanks for having me back, buddy.
Yay!
Yay.
Okay, and today, this is kind of a special gathering because we're going to be talking only about and exclusively
All things Marvel.
about what?
All things Marvel.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Star Wars
Okay.
Episode 7.
Maybe we will.
No, we're
No,
not.
no.
This is strictly Marvel. We're not talking about Ben Affleck, and we're talking about this
We're not
stuff.
going to give that. We're
And
gonna-
since we both watched Thor: The Dark World recently, especially me and Jake, we watched it yesterday, and
Yeah.
we actually didn't really talk about it at all when we watched
we said like 3 things.
it. And I didn't even tell you anything that we talked about, Luke. So this is going to be good. We're going to talk through this whole thing, but not before we will go through all the Marvel movies and what we think about them and how this sort of thing happens. So, yeah, what do you
One
think,
second.
Luke? Do you think this is a good plan?
It's a great plan.
It's a great plan.
It's a great plan.
So when did you watch Thor: The Dark World?
I watched Thor the Dark World,
Thor.
back in
Back way back.
1985.
Oh, man.
No, I watched it
obscure
last Wednesday? Not this Wednesday, but the
okay.
Wednesday before. On
Amazing.
Orange
That was like when it
Wednesday,
came out,
so
right?
I saw it for £2.
Oh, of course you did. Amazing.
That's
So this
amazing.
is a London exclusive. No,
Orange Wednesdays,
it's like
right?
a UK exclusive.
It's
thing,
a
isn't it?
UK thing. There's a phone company called Orange, and part of their snare is that you have Orange Wednesdays, which means you go to the cinema 2 for 1.
Well, do you have to
So-
have an orange phone?
You do, and you do,
that's the
but
catch.
but it's okay because you can always have a friend who has an orange phone, and there we
That's really cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I have to say though, it's
And
And,
I
it's
must
so funny.
admit-
But wait, I just want to say this.
Yeah.
The movie studios, they really they put these movies on purpose to be distributed, and released in the UK at that certain time. Which is why they usually get these movies earlier than in the US.
Yeah.
which is really
Yeah.
odd at the same time.
No,
though.
because they want to get their box office weekend numbers
but no, the
counted
odd thing
with
about
Wednesday
it, why wouldn't America do that though as well?
because they don't have Orange.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I mean if
So
Verizon started
you
doing
get
something
really
like that.
good sales on Wednesday because it's Orange Wednesday. That's why all these films always come out on a Wednesday.
I see.
So they can stack up the tickets and then boast about how it's the biggest movie in the UK, #1.
Yeah, the television commercials.
Until next week, of course.
Yeah, and then it's number 10.
Yeah. Nah.
Yes.
All right. So speaking about Marvel, Luke, what do you think? We're going to go into DC as well right now, just for the sake of comparison. What do you think about Marvel as opposed to DC? What do they do better?
I think Marvel does. I'm not trying to be biased, but I think Marvel does pretty much everything better in terms of their films. Because, I mean, they might have some shortcomings in their films, but overall, they've produced a really good cinematic universe that's not flopping over each other. It's not trying to be so dark and gritty. It flows quite nicely. But then you have things like DC, which, I mean, for goodness sake, what does DC really produce other than Batman and Superman films?
I can't think
now,
of
I'm
many.
sure they have things like Watchmen and V for Vendetta, but those don't really count because those don't really fit in with the DC universe.
Yeah.
DC universe films tend to just tank because most of the time they're just bad. Green Lantern. What was that?
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
You have their TV shows back when. Obviously, I know last time we talked a bit about Smallville, and that was okay. But rivaling Smallville was a show called Birds of Prey, which is supposed to follow a handicapped Barbara Gordon, and her little chiclets that she was sending out to fight crime. And that show tanked after about. I don't think it lasted a full season, maybe 2. But then, and of course, now they have Green Arrow, which is just bombarding you with characters after characters. Apparently, they're having Nightwing, which is like Dick Grayson, joining the cast of Green Arrow. And it's like, let it breathe.
Yeah,
but really, their bread and butter is Batman and Superman.
Yeah, of course. There's no question.
Yeah. Which, of course, Green Arrow is basically Batman, just green.
Yeah.
He's with the green cow.
So, speaking about Marvel... the movies, that is. There are very many adaptations that happened before the giant thing that we know as Marvel Studios came into being.
Which was what year did that happen?
And they did all these things by licensing their properties and during the years that they were active, right? Pretty much. And I'm looking at a list of all the live-action films based on Marvel Comics, and for some reason, they're not showing the wonderful classic we all know as the 1990 Captain America. Where is it?
Yeah, where is that?
Yeah, they are.
They are?
No, they aren't.
It's not on the list.
It's direct to video.
Oh. That bad. We aren't even looking at the right list. There it is, 1990.
Oh, it's great. Wait, they made a Punisher film in 1989. Did you know this?
No, I didn't know that. I just
That's
saw
amazing.
We'll have to watch that.
No, I'm not going to watch this.
Although what I'm not seeing, and maybe I'm missing this, is the where's the Nick Fury film? That starred
I watched that one. That was so bad. I think it was TV film.
Maybe it wasn't even directly...
It's a TV film, man.
Okay. Oh, there it is.
On a wonderful
there
list.
it is. Yeah, it's
there
our television
it is.
film.
Beautiful
Nick Fury,
Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. That has a wonderful David Hasselhoff hamming it up like he always does as the wonderful Nick Fury. And I love that message at the end. They're like, are you still smoking that cigar? Yeah, I'm going to quit. And that's the only thing I remember. Everything else was pretty much
Is anything good? Is the action at all okay?
No.
It's just terrible.
It's what you expect in a 1998 television film.
You know, it's funny, that period of time feels like they were kind of, there weren't any
Yeah, let's
ideas.
talk about that.
There weren't any ideas going around. They're like, what should we do?
Godzilla.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
We can just call it Zilla. Just call it Zilla.
That's his official name.
I know, yeah. Which he should be called Zilla, because he's not Godzilla.
No. Okay. So, like, I guess in the 1940s they had the serials.
Let's see what that is. What is
serials.
what are those Captain America serials?
Well, it's just like they did with the Batman serials.
So similar to that.
Yeah, it's black and white and had different episodes that you come to watch in the theaters every week, I think. Something
It's
like that.
funny, though. One time we rented from the library, went to the Batman serials, and the cover was so dramatic. And we were like, this is going to be pretty good.
On the DVD,
maybe it's dark, maybe interesting. It was boring. It was so boring.
And I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. If anybody likes those, I'm sure they're charming in their own right. But
maybe we didn't watch it correctly. I don't know.
For us, it was just,
Because we're expecting, action. We're expecting, I don't know, interesting dialogue, but it was more like...
Yeah, it was very basic.
Was it more
Luke,
over the
did you
top?
watch this?
I didn't. I don't think so.
You're missing... No, you're not missing.
Was it on the same level as the Adam West Batman?
No. This one was serious. This one was doing it good.
But I mean, let's say in terms of line delivery, for example.
I don't remember. I just remember there was like super stereotyping Japanese Asian people because of World War II.
Yeah.
Which was,
Maybe I did see some of those.
Yeah.
I don't know how many there are, but,
Yeah, and then we're not even going to talk about Howard the Duck. Let's just leave that away. And then we're in 1990 right now.
Captain America 1944.
No, Jacob, that was we
Serial.
just talked about that. We don't know anything about it because we didn't watch it.
Oh, sorry, 94 one. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
The 1990 Captain America. Luke, did you see that wonderful film?
I did.
It was excellent.
It
Jacob,
was.
what do you think about this?
It was something wonderful. Boy, what do I remember of that? I remember Captain America being a bit of a dork.
No.
Oh yeah.
Douche.
How amazing was that? Like, remember? He goes like, "Oh, I feel sick." This is Captain America. This is the heroics of Captain America.
This is the hero of America.
Dun, 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 dun. He comes in. Oh, I feel so sick, and then some poor innocent bystander
He's in the car with him.
In the car. He's in the car.
Yeah, they're both in the car.
Oh, he's his friend then. Yeah, and he's like, "I feel sick." And he's like, "Oh, you want to get out? Let's get out. Let's go. What's wrong, Cap?" You know. And then he's like, I'll look for help." And he just wanders off a little bit. And what does Captain America do? He does the heroic American thing to do, which is get into the car, drive away, and steal it.
The true hero. Look at him go heroically, drive away into the sunset.
And then they filmed, and then they fought the Red Skull, right? Who didn't even look like much of a skull.
You mean the Rubber Skull?
The
Rubber skull, yeah.
No, didn't
Although
he
to be fair, even in the new film, he looks like a rubber skull. He
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
look like.
Oh yeah.
It
He
doesn't
does
look
look
like
fake,
skin
doesn't he?
falling off his face. Like I was a bit disappointed with that.
We'll get to that. I
definitely get
presume and I hope. Well, and then they filmed in Dubrovnik, in Croatia, which was
back then it was Yugoslavia.
shameful. Well, yeah, in Yugoslavia back then, of course. Yeah, that's about all I can say. That's it.
That's the only interesting.
Wait,
thing.
didn't the Red Skull in the Captain America, the 1990 classic, his skull was exposed? His red skull was only like in one or two scenes, and then the rest of the movie it was just him with just
he had like a normal face, and then he ripped the mask off just like they did in the new one.
Yep, that's right.
But really, nothing really. I think he defeats
You can't
Red
say
Skull.
anything about this film because it's just so stupid.
But
He's
most
just
it's also
Captain
quite
Douche.
boring.
Oh yeah,
I remember the ending. They fight in Dubrovnik, and that's pretty much it.
with a piano. Wasn't there like a piano?
Yeah, some kind of piano falls on somebody. And he throws his shield. He throws his shield a couple of times, and it's like
And he runs away a lot.
he runs away.
He does. He does run away a lot.
I don't know what they were thinking, and how are they? When they released that, were they thinking, we did such a good job, guys. We created the true hero.
Oh man,
of the time."
look! I just realized there's so many adaptations from Marvel Comics that we didn't even go like to the 1960s Spider-Man cartoon with
that's
amazing
true.
limited animation, and now it's like this huge meme thing in the internet, which is fairly funny. Spider-Man. Yeah. So in 1994, this great film came out called The Fantastic Four. See, it's not Fantastic Four, it's The Fantastic Four.
Big difference.
The Fantastic Four.
Yes.
And from what I know, it was produced by the low-budget sage of all low-budget B-grade films, Roger Corman, of course, which is appropriate because it looked very low-budget and stupid.
It did. I agree.
Oh, it definitely did. But here's the funny thing. I think the Thing in that film looked a little bit more Rocky than he did in the Thing from the new one.
Ironically, that's true. The thing in the like whatever year that one came out.
Yeah,
the new one.
What year was that? 2003 or something?
5.
I don't know. That was just, he looked like styrofoam.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he
He
did.
was foamy. He was the foam.
And this old one actually looked like he was made out of rock, which is it's amazing that Roger Corman produced Fantastic Four is doing something. But then again, it did something better than the 2005 one as well. I think I liked the ending a little bit more because it felt more emotional, like in a sense that these guys were friends. Dr. Doom and Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards.
Yeah.
And at the end,
They
he's like,
didn't just want Jessica Biel, not Jessica Biel, Jessica Alba.
yeah, and like
Batmobile.
we're gonna go into
Couldn't
that.
resist.
Remember, like we watched it together, Luke, once.
It's on YouTube. You
Did
can
we?
watch on YouTube.
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, remember we watched it, and it was like it had he and Dr. Doom were like reach or something like that, and he's like, point is, it was more personal of a climax, as opposed to the ridiculousness we got.
I like this girl. I know I like this girl. No, we're gonna fight over this girl, and I'm gonna give her a big ring and give her the world.
and I'm gonna make myself a ring, because I'm Mr. Fantastic. Okay. No one cares about the Fantastic Four.
Nope.
So
It never even got released.
anyway,
Which
these
is
were
probably why their reboot has been pushed back again.
has it?
Yeah, I thought something about that the other day where it's been like pushed back or something.
Are they rebooting it? Are they rebooting again? Right?
Yeah, they're rebooting again. And
What are they gonna call it? Like
listen,
4? Or something like that?
yeah, they're probably gonna do something stupid like that. But like, did you guys hear that the they're planning on doing the Marvel Studios thing and putting it in the same universe as X-Men now.
Yeah.
That sounds a little stupid to me.
Which, it sounds stupid, but at the same time, like, it does kind of flow only because, and this is, like, so minute, but there's some of the Easter eggs in X-Men 2 tease a wider universe. Like, when Mystique is on the computer, like, they have a file that says something about their kid, Reed Richards' kid.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah, like, so there's little Easter eggs that did kind of expand the universe a bit in that film. So it wouldn't be entirely unforeseen to have the Fantastic Four in the X-Men universe, but they got to do it nicely because it could be really tricky.
Yeah, and well, that was just made for fun, though, in my opinion. Like,
it was.
They were doing X2 and everything, but we'll get to that later. So at this point, which is the 1990s, the mid 1990s, I'm assuming that comic book movies were at an all-time low. To be honest, I think no one really cared about doing that. They tried a few times with these fantastic, douche movies where Captain America runs away and
Marvel hadn't hit it. Like DC had done because they had Batman.
Ooh, good point.
That's right. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just
in terms of the
at
DC,
least for Marvel.
Okay,
I have to.
Strong.
And they had Batman, which started out.
Batman
really well.
was already kind of.
It started
sliding.
really well, and then it slided all the way down in 1997 to the crap.
To the Schumacher films.
Yes.
And we got Batman.
The toyetic
Robin.
Schumacher films.
And at that point, it was done. Batman and Robin was the last. Was the last thing.
And then, in my opinion, a little-known movie they made, New Line Cinema, called Blade, came out.
I think Blade was.
In my opinion, it sort of turned like. I really like what they did with it because it's a Marvel comic, and they really turned it into a very serious, real life kind of very hard and gritty tone and setting. And I think that's sort of the first one that sort of gave it a legitimate weight as like serious dramas go. Even though, and I'm not talking about like the movie being like a serious drama or anything, like in terms of the plot or anything, because once you watch it a few times, and to be honest, Blade is one of those movies that I rather like. I don't know about you, Luke, but just because
I don't know a whole lot about Blade. That's the one. It's like the only one that I've not really invested in.
Right. Well, he's just the basic gist though. He's just he's a vampire hunter, slayer, half man, half vampire. Yeah. Kill vampires.
Daywalker. But I think Blade was arguably the first movie to.
That's what I'm going to say. It sort of set the tone that you could actually do a lot more interesting and more legitimate and more variety with the tone.
Well, I think I totally agree. I do think that I would have to say the Christopher Reeves Superman film, Richard Donner's film, really that set it up, I think, and I think Blade took it the step that it needed to take.
Yeah.
Because I think if you watch the original Superman film, like it's very much set within the real world. It doesn't feel like you're watching a comic book universe.
You're right, and they changed it from Gotham. They changed it from Metropolis to New York, didn't they?
Yeah, well, they call it Metropolis, but it's filmed in New York.
Do they really? I thought it was New York. I thought they just changed it to New York. All right.
But I would still say, though, the vibe is still quite flashy, I think, with Superman.
Well, it got stupid after Richard Donner did the first one, and then the other guy took over for the second one after they had all their issues. And so the second one got a bit silly, but was still okay. And then 3 and 4 and
I've never even seen that.
They were stupid.
No.
The point is that Richard Donner did a really good job saying, "Oh,
I have to agree.
Do something quite
I totally
realistic.
Forgot about this stuff. I keep forgetting about the DC stuff every single time I start talking about something. I'm going with Marvel, and then then Luke comes in because he's such a pro at this, and he's like Superman, and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot about Superman. Oh, I forgot about Superman. But what I wanted to say about Blade, visually it looks really nice. Tonally, it's great. It does everything correctly, and I think it's got a great visual language, and the cinematography is excellent, and the costuming is good, and the premise, not the plot, the ideas and the concepts are great. The movie, it wasn't very lively, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was very downbeat, but it had some good potential. So anyway, Blade came out. Cool. No one really cared much because it really wasn't that mainstream of a film.
It was kind of underground,
but
wasn't it?
Then, in 2000, X-Men.
Everything changed.
And that's sort of like, like Blade was the rocket ship and X-Men launched it.
Oh yeah.
So that's how I.
It kind of feels like that, though. I think that
And
Blade at least
X-Men-
set it up in a sense.
Yeah,
It set
and
up the
X-Men
scene.
did a much better job when it came to all the characters because they really, and I think,
and making it mainstream as well.
yes, and that's what I was going to say. Yes, making it mainstream and because it was a PG-13 film, and they set it into a real world, and they made all the characters feel like they were. I lost it, Luke. You
Believable.
Yeah, well, they were believable, and because actually the film's quite short. It's only like what?
Yeah, it's an hour 45.
An hour and 40.
Yeah.
Like for that short of a film to actually feel like you've invested in that amount of characters, because I mean, what you have: Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean, Storm, Iceman, Professor X,
That's a good
Magneto.
point, yeah.
You know, did I say Jean? I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah,
you
my
have
bad.
upwards from 8 to 10 characters that are
Rogue,
driving this
Rogue.
film. And what?
I said Rogue. Did you?
Oh,
did you
Rogue.
I
mention-
thought you were just going, blah, blah.
I'm Rogue.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, so to do a film in that short a time, well, to have that short of a running length and actually have really well-rounded characters is good. And to make it, and like, yeah, to set it in that kind of believable world, it really did change the game for like comic book films.
Yeah, and
from being stupid, cheesy kind of, towering, ginormous statues of big, weird shaped looking men from, Schumacher's Batman to,
Absolutely.
hey, this is actually, proper New York City, and like
these
this is
people
something that's
felt
really
like
cool.
they could exist and live among us as mutants. But to be honest, I just have to put credit to Blade again, because Blade did also the same thing that you said, except that it failed on a few parts with being not a very good, well executed story, and like with the. Well, not with the script as much as just like everything felt downbeat.
I didn't feel like there was such a good structure. I think.
But I will say that X-Men obviously succeeded a lot better because it kind of pushed it away from being too gritty and too discomforting and
uncomfortable too as well.
Yeah, and downbeat to being also fun and adventurous while being sci-fi and very gritty and real. Right, wouldn't you say?
One of the good things that X-Men always did, when you go back and watch it, is it's always good when you can kind of poke fun at yourself. Like, obviously, like, when Wolverine's, like, they're telling him all their names, and it's like, oh, Xavier's like, this is Cyclops, and he's like, what do they call you, Wheels?
Yeah. that was. Like, I think that was an ad lib by Hugh Jackman.
Well, it's a brilliant ad lib.
It was very
because
good.
like it's stuff like that. They're just like you're inside this like world. There's these mutants and powers, and they have code names, and they're stupid code names, but they work.
Yeah, it's
And I was gonna say Zack Snyder. Dear gosh, Bryan Singer. Really, he really made it work, which was good. Like, you can tell that was someone who made the film because he felt like there was something special there. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, I'm Zack Snyder, I'm going to make Batman because I can make slow motion and blah, 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 boring, blah. It's like he really invested in these characters and really believed in the project rather than just, viewed it as a cash-in, which Superman, anyone who does a Superman film just knows it's a cash-in no matter how bad they make it.
Yeah.
But ironically, Bryan Singer made one of the worst Superman films.
Oh, that's true,
yeah, there's 4 Superman films.
4.
5 if you count
5.
Superman Returns.
But that was like the biggest
Super
flop
Stalker.
ever, right?
Not much of a flop, just it was like no one liked it.
No one
anyway,
liked
2002 came in and Blade 2 came out and it was great and they fixed all the problems Blade 1 had, but then again it was still an R-rated film and it wasn't that mainstreamish. But Blade 2 is a great film. I liked it. I think that's all I can say.
I think
Guillermo del Toro.
Blade 2, I think, took the action aspect of it and kind of made it more actiony.
And put a lot of nice little visual fun stuff in there, like the Reapers. And
yeah, it's true.
I like it. It's
For those of you who
and we have that
Blade
amazing
2 will
deleted
know.
scene with the Hefner outfit.
Hefner.
Yes.
This is very inside stuff. You have to.
Okay, and so
And then one of the best comic book characters ever made into film finally came out after so long. We were waiting for a live action version of everyone's favorite character. We tried one with 1994. It was supposed to come out, and James Cameron apparently was writing a script for it. But
Which I've read.
Did you now? Was it good?
yeah.
Of course, we're talking about 2002 Spider-Man. Get him, Spidey!
Go get him.
Excelsior!
Oh, Stan, take your meds. Take your meds, Stan.
Oh, that's right. I didn't take my meds today.
While Stan gets his meds, we'll talk about Spider-Man.
Yes, we'll talk about Spider-Man. Yay! And we all liked this first Spider-Man,
I think
right?
we can all agree it was a really fun film.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one that, while, the rocket blasted with X-Men, and the rocket was created by Blade, and we can also say Superman at the same time and all that. But then it landed with Spider-Man, and now we have this invasion of comic book movies that just burst into the screen. Yes. What did you think of Spider-Man? Let's go.
I thought it was great. My first complaint with it though was that the darn opening credits last for like 5 minutes. They don't need to last that long. I got incredibly bored watching those credits.
The music is wonderful.
But Danny Elfman did create an amazing score for.
I think the score fits so well with the character of Spider-Man. They got all the cues right and the elements.
Especially, I like
intertwine with the.
I'm not too excited about the main Spider-Man theme because I think it goes a little too long. It's really hard to hum it because if I go dun 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 dun, see, it's really difficult. But what I really liked was the Spider-Man Force theme. The great power, great responsibility. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. No, music overall was really good. But Sam, I agree. Like that one was where it all landed because it was great because
it was huge because everybody wanted to see Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone loves Spider-Man. Who doesn't love Spider-Man? It's freaking Spider-Man. He's like Batman, but Batman's boring because Spider-Man's cool. I mean, come on, it's Spider-Man. Following on from X-Men, just did everything right.
Yeah.
Like, the cast was really great. The story was good.
Story was visually
it was really cool.
Yeah, it was colorful. That's right.
Jacob and it said kind of brought that comic book vibe.
It brought the comic book vibe without even being, kitschy with its comic bookness. Right?
Yeah, I think it was genuine. It felt genuine.
Yeah.
At the same time,
colorful,
while creating a kind of a world that was more vibrant. Than what you'd see, even from X-Men. I think X-Men.
Oh yeah.
X-Men arguably was also kind of colorful, but it was still.
Well, was
not necessarily colorful, but I'm saying it wasn't as dark as, let's say, something like Blade.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was still kind of neutral in a sense. But Spider-Man, I think, took it to a different area, and I think it did a really good job.
I think what was cool is that I would say probably the first comic book film that actually had like a really good like moral core. Like though X-Men deals with like cool philosophical ideas of
issues,
power and oppression, there's a moral core to Spider-Man that some of these other comic book films don't have, and that's not a bad thing. But that was one of the main things that made that film so incredibly cool.
Yes.
Is
accessible and more accessible to more people.
Yeah.
And I think I like.
Who's a photographer that takes a picture of Spider-Man?
I have to know. It's interesting though, since the new Spider-Man film.
Wait, why is J. Jonah Jameson saying that?
What did he say?
I was like,
who's a photographer that takes a picture of Spider-Man?
Someone tell me.
The Green Goblin.
But I was going to say though, it's interesting to note that when Spider-Man came out, we weren't really thinking about. At least since I hadn't read the comics at all, I wasn't thinking about necessarily how Spider-Man is supposed to act.
That's
true.
So
for me, that was Spider-Man when I watched Spider-Man.
Right.
But since the new film came out, it's interesting to note that he is more Spider-like in the new film.
Yes.
I'm not a big fan of the new film, but it's interesting that the old Spider-Man film, he's kind of more of a...
He was more Peter Parker.
More Peter Parker, yeah.
What do you think, Tim? Tim. Wow,
Tim.
Wow, I am so sorry.
I'm not Tim.
Luke.
I'm Luke.
What do you think, Luke?
No, I agree. I think it's interesting to see the two different Spider-Mans, especially since they're so close in release. Sam Raimi's definitely kind of emphasized, didn't really focus on the scientific or witty elements of Peter Parker or Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He definitely focused on the struggle to become stable and handle both of these identities. Mm-hmm. So it was really more of you don't want to say that Peter Parker has a bit of an identity crisis throughout the entire series because he's not really
right, but
he's not really found his stable ground up until the third film, which was that was just abysmal.
Rubbish.
So whereas the new one, they really wanted to just kind of shove Peter into his personality, into that kind of I'm super smart, I'm a bit of a loner, and I don't know.
Yeah, I think
crack a lot of jokes at the same time. He's that kind of stuff. But he only really does that kind of stuff, at least according to the comics. He only really does that kind of stuff when he's Spider-Man. Not when he's Peter Parker. When he's Peter Parker, he is quiet, shy kind of guy, and he uses that
That's true. Wait, you're talking
Spider-Man.
about him being? Yes, I know what I totally get what you're talking about. But you're talking about like when he's saying all those wisecracks and everything. That's the thing I was kind of missing in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Oh, I agree. I think it would have been a lot better had
Spider-Man
brought some of that wit into the character.
But I think at the same time, they made Peter Parker's character much more of a good guy in the original Spider-Man films. That's nothing bad. I think that's cool. But I'm saying that maybe it wouldn't have worked so much. They could have incorporated that, obviously. But I think that based on his character in the film, Peter Parker seems to be like a good guy who doesn't joke around that much. Remember that in the films?
Yeah.
And I guess,
Yeah.
No, what I wanted to say was that
there were people who didn't like. What did you want to say?
I just want to say that the mannerisms as well were completely different in how he moves as Spider-Man.
Right.
In the new film, they kind of went for that. I guess in the comic books, he acts kind of like a spider, right? Where he has his stance and how he jumps around and how he, right, swings around through the city. And I think in the old film, he's more of a, I don't know, more of like a guy in a suit. Right?
Yeah.
It's not, again, not bad.
CGI blob.
Oh, he was a CGI blob in some scenes.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't as emphasized as it was in the new one.
Right.
And also, people didn't like Tobey Maguire being Peter Parker, which is interesting because, I watched the 90s show. You obviously watched the 90s show, the cartoon. Yeah. And I guess in the comics, see, that's the funny thing. We're talking about the TV show and the movies, and then the comics, the primary ones that you were supposed to talk about are, Reed. I haven't done much of that, but that's okay because I know enough about the characters because we have these wonderful Marvel encyclopedias that I did look through, and that's good. So, what do you think about the fact that Tobey Maguire? Do you remember anything like that? Any of that kind of some fans on the internet going? Brr!
I didn't really hunt around for it at the time because even though I was a Marvel fan, I really didn't care that much to look into the films and beyond just watching it and trying to enjoy it. So I kind of missed the whole kind of what is this nonsense with Tobey Maguire kind of stuff. I remember a few times myself thinking, do I like you? Okay, fine. I do like you in the end. Only because there were just I can see why people would think there could be someone better for the role, and I think part of that does come down to the fact that he wasn't as witty as what people were wanting Spider-Man to be. And Tobey Maguire isn't really. He doesn't really come across like a witty kind of person.
That's true.
In his roles, he's very much like
the innocent,
the innocent
subdued puppy dog
Uh-huh.
looking out into space. Oh, Mary Jane, she's so beautiful.
He's more of a kind of a piner. He's a piner. I pine.
Yeah, but it's interesting though because for people like me who haven't read the comics. That was perfectly fine, you know what I mean? Because that was the first time I ever saw more of Spider-Man except, knowing his costume or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd say Sam Raimi didn't alter the character or do anything that wasn't
true. No, in fact, I think that the new that movie actually had a lot of that classicism to it that the original 1960s and the 1960s comics had as well. Especially, J. Jonah Jameson, we're selling newspapers.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think that's good. There's a lot of endearing traits to those films.
And it's great. See, you should always get these people who have been making really small, low budget, cheap schlocky films to be making these big ones because most of the time they always do an excellent job. Because Sam Raimi making those amazing Evil Dead movies, which are so corny and cheesy and lovable. And then you give them Spider-Man, it's excellent. And then you go to look at Peter Jackson, and then he was doing Bad Taste and Dead Alive, which are equally charmingly disgusting films. And and then you get Lord of the... I'm just saying.
It's cool because it's completely different to people who've been in the industry for years. It's here's a $250 million film. Can you do that for us?
Oh yeah, I've done.
Yeah, I can do that, and they do it. Such a mediocre job. It's like, what's the next film? I need a job.
Yeah. So anyway, now we've talked so much about Spider-Man.
Maybe too much.
Let's continue with 2003, we had this pimple of a film called Daredevil.
Daredevil feels like they just scrapped like the remaining bits of Spider-Man. It's like, guys, let's make a film.
Guys, we need to
Daredevil.
make
It's
a
popular
film.
now. Comic book films, guys.
Literally.
This is
A-list
the-
actor Ben Affleck.
Yeah,
go.
this seems like the seams that were cut out from Spider-Man. They just reassembled into Daredevil because it just felt like Spider-Man's coming up, Blade
And
2,
it felt so desperate. It was like,
X-Men, and
let's push out a film.
yeah,
push out a
we need to
film.
push out a film, and then we got.
And it
this,
turned out to be
and,
what? Bad, of course.
It wasn't very good. I didn't like it.
No.
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 It was utterly terrible from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw it in theaters. Like honestly,
No.
there was nothing about that film made me want to go to the cinema and see it. I thought
And there's
one. I thought, why
yeah.
is Ben Affleck in this film? He was that retard from Pearl Harbor, and
Oh,
you know,
no.
I was like, I don't want to see him as Daredevil. I don't really think Daredevil's that interesting of a character. Like, I still don't. Like, he's
Yeah.
blind lawyer who hops around the city and has some sort of weird sonar ability to see.
But in the PlayStation game, Spider-Man, he teamed up with Spidey a little bit, and I think that would have been. You know what? To be honest, if Daredevil wasn't in any future Spider-Man movies, I wouldn't mind. I think he would make a pretty good Batman.
But with a different actor, though.
character.
You mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not Ben Affleck.
He makes a good supporting character. The
Yeah.
problem with
That's what I said with
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Oh, is that what you mean by having him like in a Spider-Man
Yes,
film or
yes.
something like that? Okay, yeah.
Oh,
no, yeah,
Daredevil,
I
hey.
agree.
Yeah.
I don't want to
And
see
that's
another
all we
lead
can say about
Daredevil film.
Daredevil.
That's pretty much all it's
because,
worthy
yeah.
of saying about Daredevil.
And the only
Apart from
person,
that wonderful scene with what's her face,
Elektra?
Electra, is that her name?
Yeah.
well, the
And
character,
he's like,
yeah.
and it's raining, and he's touching her face, like, oh,
Yeah.
you're so beautiful.
I can see you now with my eyes.
I imagine she was like super fat and ugly.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Would he still be attracted to her?
Probably.
Hell no.
Oh, okay. All right. So, and then what else came out in 2003? Hulk. That's another great film, right?
As a wonderful film.
Yeah.
Man, I remember
Nerf
being
Man.
so
Nerf Hulk. I was
confused.
gonna say that. I was hoping no one was gonna say this, but yeah, Hulk looks like he was made out of Nerf,
And
right?
his pants were so
It is
purple.
true.
And everything was green about him. They didn't put any other color or hue. Like normal skin, it's not just pink. It's all kinds of different colors from that come from your tissue and from the epidermis and your
the
cells and the
human
blood
body.
vessels and all that, and it just goes
Pigment.
and yes, and
Yeah.
and then there's so much complexity in all skins of all kinds of creatures in the world, and here we have Hulk, which is just
Fighting
pure
giant
green.
poodles.
Oh no, not the poodles.
Yep,
the
the
Hulk
poodles.
dogs.
I remember being so confused watching that film.
And this is what I was talking about. Spider-Man did a great job making it look like a comic book film without hitting you over the head of the fact that it's based on a comic. What did Hulk do?
Shove it in your face.
Oh yeah.
Let's put
panels
let's
were
put
comic
panels.
book
Oh,
panels
removing
and
panels. Like
And
it's so
Eric
comic booky.
Bana, he was so
Serious.
Nah. And you know what? I remember watching this like a few years ago, and I can still remember how long it took for him to become the Hulk. It was around 48 minutes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's about as long as
What happens
this talk
before
that we've
that?
had so far.
I don't even remember what happens before that.
They
What
were
leads up
trying to
it?
get this gamma radiation thing, to start
Oh, right,
working.
because it's the origin story, right? Or
Right.
no?
Actually, okay, so to give it credit, I think, because I watched it one last time, I don't know, years ago, just to see if it was as bad as I remember. Turns out it was, but then again, I listened pretty attentively to the dialogue spoken and the plot that was going on, and I have to say, I don't think that's a very bad idea, to be honest with you. I like the
I would
idea
agree.
that his dad was this crazy man who was trying to, I forget what it was, make
I think
some
they're
kind
trying
of
to make a breakthrough. or something like
regenerative
that.
cells
Mhm.
to put
Yeah.
together, and he was testing on his kid as well, and I think he has a temper tantrum as well, stuff like
Yeah.
that. And what I liked about this was it's not like anybody could turn into the Hulk because he was injected with all these different
Concoctions.
concoctions of I'm so bad at finding the words.
Chemicals.
And like from his dad's research from the years, and so
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
he grew up, they were testing this gamma radiation thing, which was a horrible, cheesy effect when he got hit. It was so bad.
I
It was like made
remember.
on Pinnacle Studio. It was
Ooh.
bad. And the thing is that no other creature could have survived except him because of this unique genetic kind of
Mutation.
mutation that he was, just because his dad was experimenting on him when he was a kid. And I think that was a really good idea. And then I
Yes.
also thought the really good idea was that
poodle dogs.
no, stop it. The plot in its primal, most basic form, I think it would have worked. But
Yeah,
Then we got
I
Ang
remember
Lee.
rewatching the film back in like 2010. I found it for like £3 when I was visiting the States, and I thought, all right, I'll get it just for the hay of it. And I remember watching it and thinking the same thing. You know what? This actually isn't. It's still pretty darn terrible, but there really is a solid idea behind it, and it's just a shame that it was executed so horrendously.
And to make things even more interesting, the opposite of hiring someone who's doing B-movie schlock like Sam Raimi or Peter Jackson, we got this wonderful Oscar-winning high artiste director, Ang Lee, to make it, and things didn't turn out as well as expected.
No.
But then again, nothing wrong about Ang Lee. He did some pretty good movies, and he's pretty dedicated to the things he did. You know, he did most of the motion capture performances for the Hulk himself.
Really? No, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was funny. But it was good. It's nice seeing that kind of stuff going on. And then in 2003, a good movie was out as well. Yay! X-Men 2. X2. X-Men United.
I really like X-Men 2.
I liked X-Men 2. It did everything. It improved everything that first X-Men did. It looked cool. It looked funky. It still maintained its realism, but it still made it much more colorful in terms of the characters and the story.
More upbeat.
Yeah, and then they had this wonderful plot where Magneto had to team up with the good guys, and the good guys were under. And Stryker was there, and he was played really well by Brian Cox.
And I like that we got to see more of Wolverine's origins, but in a subtle way. It wasn't shoved in your face like, now it cut to the origin story. It was
good.
Yeah.
Kind of melted in.
They got everything that they did, and I think they did everything pretty good in that film. What do you think? I think you share the same opinion. Do you not?
Yeah, no, I do. I think X-Men 2 definitely ticked all the right boxes.
Yeah.
There really is nothing about that film that I would say I would have changed or improved on. I think
it's true. I can't think of anything.
It did what was good in the fact that some of these comic book films want to tell this unique story, as in like they want to tell a unique story from the comics.
Yes.
But what I really loved about Bryan Singer's films is that he never actually just tried to retell one story yet, at least at this point in his time.
Yeah.
He never tried to tell just one story. He actually took all these ideas that were spread across all the different comics, and he focused them into a very unique story. And I think with X-Men 2, he did a really great job of taking
combining
Wolverine's
all these
story,
things,
but then also bringing in the Phoenix story, or the birth of the Phoenix story, and focusing that into this really cool, unique, really interesting film. That I don't think any of the other Marvel films to date have crafted such a fun story,
which is
that's quite complex, but then touches on so many other elements within that particular universe and executes it so brilliantly.
And we have to give credit to the other co-writers who made X2.
David Hayter.
Because David Hayter, who helped work on that, and of course Bryan Singer helped with the story as well, and even Zach Penn. Yeah, I guess he's an okay writer. I mean, he's all right. I mean, sometimes he makes bad movies like X-Men 3. Well,
we're getting there.
Co-writes it, yeah. We're getting there. And Michael Dougherty and Dan Harris are kind of they co-wrote the script for X2 with David Hayter, and they are sort of Bryan Singer's buddies that he takes around with him whenever he makes another film, because they worked on Superman Returns as well, which they
butchered.
Wasn't Bryan Singer supposed to direct X-Men 3?
He was.
We're gonna get there.
We'll get there.
Let's skim through a few of these.
Wow, we're really slow.
And then 2004.
We are halfway done though.
2004 came out. Yay, The Punisher! Boo.
We watched The Punisher, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh yes, The Punisher with what's his face.
Roy Scheider was in it.
Artisan Entertainment, aren't they like defunct now?
What?
Artisan Entertainment.
I think they are.
Was it the last movie before they like plummeted to bankruptcy or something?
I don't know. I don't know much.
I think there's nothing really to say about the Punisher.
Yeah, I didn't. Rebecca Romijn's in it though.
Do you know who?
She played Mystique.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So do you know much about the Punisher, Luke? Character?
No.
What?
The only thing I remember from the Punisher is from when I was a kid watching the Spider-Man cartoon.
And yeah.
Spider-Man turns into this like awesome like spider monster, and the Punisher has to go into New York and hunt this spider monster down, and you just learn a little bit about his origins and like although his family was taken from him,
was killed for me.
he decided to become the Punisher.
Taken.
He has to be all cool and blow buildings up.
We need some justice.
I mean, he was cool in those cartoons, but he wasn't cool in this film.
No, not really. No, it was a big, huge blah. I don't remember much.
Similar to how they released
Roy Scheider was in it though.
Who?
No one knows.
Roy Scheider. He played Brody in Jaws. He's a nice actor. He died. He died on my birthday.
Really?
Which sucks.
Aww. Man.
What a great present.
Happy birthday.
Well, it wasn't my first birthday. It was kind of like my, what was it, like 20th, 19th birthday, something like that. Okay. Sad. Sucks.
Yeah.
And so in 2004, let's go with another crappy film. It's so funny. 2003 had Daredevil and Hulk, bleh, and then X2, yay. Yeah. 2004 had The Punisher, bleh, and then Blade Trinity, bleh, and and then Spider-Man 2, yay!
Blade Trinity took the Blade franchise into a very bad direction.
Yeah, because the director is no other than the guy who wrote Blade 1 and 2. And then written and directed Blade Trinity. His name is David Goyer. That just goes
to show, really, that if
his name is David Goyer.
All right, David Goyer, there we go. It just goes to show, like, if you write these things, then you go on to write and direct.
Yeah.
It hardly ever goes very well.
Absolutely.
Like, just recently, I mean, obviously, if you look at something like The Bourne Legacy, where the guy who directed the film was part of the writing team who did the original Bourne films.
Okay.
And the original Bourne films with Matt Damon are brilliant. And you get this Bourne Legacy, and you would think because the guy who wrote the other films would have a solid idea what to do for a fourth one, he just totally murders it.
Yeah. It's weird, though, because I think directing has become this strangely prestigious thing, and it seems like anyone can direct. It's like, you want to be in the director's seat? Go ahead. It's like, hey, are you like a best boy grip? You've been doing pretty good. You want to direct? Okay, come direct. You know.
Or the best boy grip's like, I should start directing. I should, put myself up so we can.
But it's weird because a lot of people don't. It doesn't seem like they understand that directing is a very specific thing. You know what I mean? It's like if you're good at writing, that means you're great at writing. It's awesome. You know what I mean? But that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a good director.
And it's also the other
set of skills.
Yes, and it's also the thing about collaboration where so there's things that you see, even though all the writer directors always Let's just talk about the adaptation ones, because those are the ones that have the most problems. There's lots of writer-directors who do a great job with their own movies and everything. That's not the case here. Like, for example, David Goyer, he's always... And everybody else that I have heard talking about this, they always say stuff like, well, when I'm the director, I put my directing cap on, and I try to see what works as a film, and try to, and then the writer side says, no, and then I say, no, I'm the director, I have to make adjustments to how it works, but it still doesn't work, right? Yeah, so Blade Trinity, sorry, you just said you agree? Okay, good. So Blade Trinity, terrible film. I didn't like it at all.
And I think
no one liked it.
I think not only the movie was bad, but I think one of the
reasons
it went in such a wrong direction.
Remember what they call him? Drake.
Well, yeah, not only that, but I think one of the biggest...
That's when you just get up and walk out of the cinema.
Yeah. One of the biggest problems, they took this loner, a Blade, who worked by himself in every film, and he's always like, oh, no, I'm working alone, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And suddenly... What do we give him? Sidekicks.
Yeah, and then we kill off Whistler.
We kill off Whistler at the beginning. Why? Oh, because whatever. Yeah. And we give him sidekicks.
Yeah, at that point. But they're in the comics, but who cares?
I know, but it doesn't work for
and
the
guess who?
films.
Guess Jessica Biel, whose son should be called Batmo, so we can have a wonderful, meme. Never mind. And then we have the wonderful Ryan Reynolds introduced to us to all Marvel movies and comic book movies. He's just going to be sticking in
with his stupid
for
jokes.
Such a long time. Yes, with his stupid jokes. I had a lot of garlic, and I just farted.
I think he's so funny, though. But I don't know if he's written like that, or did he ad-lib or something?
I don't know.
Either way, it's safe to say, Blade Trinity, I don't know what they were trying to do. I don't know what David Goyer was thinking. But did he write the movie?
Yes.
And he wrote Blade 2 and 1, right?
Yes.
Or at least co-wrote. Or fully wrote. And then he goes, whatever.
Yeah. That wasn't great. It was not. And, nothing personal, Ryan Reynolds, but he's just...
But you suck.
Yes, and so...
You did a great job in Green Lantern. Just kidding.
Spider-Man 2 came out as well. That was great. I like the paintings at the beginning, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was an intro. I love the intro for that one. That was great. I could watch it over and over.
And would you say that Spider-Man 2 did what X-Men 2 did with improving everything?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it took I love that film. It's those two, X-Men 2 and Spider-Man 2. I don't think they're both just amazing. They really progress the characters. They progress the overall story in a really good way.
And I think Doc Ock was, even though he was a little too friendly, and it felt like he wasn't exactly a villain because he was sort of listening to the tentacle brain things.
Yeah.
But I think he still maintained that good balance of being bad and threatening, but still being, being sympathetic. Yes, it is true. And I like the cinematography a little bit better, even though they went with the 240 aspect ratio instead of the, 185 from Spider-Man 1, which kind of weird because, they changed the aspect ratio, but, who cares about that? Only film nerds like me care about that.
I think, though, in terms of cinematography, it felt a little more dynamic.
Yeah, it was more dynamic. The first one was shot by Don Burgess, who... His cinematography is kind of flat, of.
I was going to say, yeah.
Which is okay sometimes,
right.
Of course. It's great. It still looks nice. It's, very matte looking. And then the new one was one of my favorite cinematographers, at least, when The Matrix is concerned, because it's one of the best things in The Matrix is the cinematography, and that's Bill Pope, and he did this one, Spider-Man 2, because he's a collaborator with Sam Raimi. He also did Army of Darkness. And he did a good job. I like it.
Yeah. Well, I think what was cool as well is it also did what X-Men 2 did, and that was incorporate so many other stories from the comics.
Oh, did it? See, that's what you do. I don't understand. Why can't you just think about it like that, guys? Come on, let's do that.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. 'Cause, you took what was so cool, what I really liked about Sam Raimi's films as well, is that there's a lot of scenes in his films that are actually just panels that were in the comics.
Oh yeah.
For example, in the first one, when Green Lantern, or not Green Lantern, when Green Goblin was killed, and his glider is piercing him, that moment, those few panels are direct from the comics, which is really cool.
Wow.
Or the scene where Spider-Man in the second one, where he dumps his costume in the bin and walks off down the alley. That scene is an exact panel from one of the comics as well.
I didn't know that.
And so there's really cool nods like that, but then at the same time, he's taken this story, this Spider-Man No More story, fused it with a Dr. Octopus story, while also bringing in the whole Harry Osborn becoming the Green Goblin. You take all this cool stuff, and you don't have to just focus on these one ideas. We need to do an origin story, then we need to do this. You can take all of these ideas that span across the entire comic library and just focus them into a really epic film, and that's what X-Men 1 and 2 did, and that's what Spider-Man 1 and 2 did, and those 4 films are, I think, Marvel's best films.
Nice. Well done. Well done, sir. Spider-Man 2 was good. I liked it. It was nice.
Yes.
The power of the sun.
Oh no, what's next? What do I see?
But unfortunately, things took a bit of a rocky turn.
Yeah.
When 2005 came out, and Elektra, wonderful. I always thought it was a direct-to-DVD movie. That's what it felt like.
It's funny, though, of all the characters, why choose
really
Elektra?
Looks like it.
Of all characters, why choose Elektra, huh?
They're going through the films. Okay, Daredevil. Oh, okay, let's see.
Because Elektra died in Daredevil, remember?
Because she's so important. We got to get her back. Got to have her whole movie.
And
was that a prequel
song,
story?
Isn't it? Wake me up inside. Wake up. Yeah.
I can't wake up.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was in the movie as well.
So epic.
Great. I can't remember much again,
Me neither.
but then again, there was this one girl, she was training or something, and then we had Mark Mueller, who was in
Goran
it.
Visnich.
Yeah, who's played by Goran Visnich, who's a Croatian actor, but he's not a very good one, so I'm not gonna... No.
But it's a shame. It's a shame because, it's Marvel's only attempt at a female hero having a solo film.
Yeah, and why does it have to be so lame?
They just butchered it. They picked the worst female lead they possibly could.
Oh, you mean Jennifer Garner?
No, I mean Elektra.
Okay, yeah.
What is she? She's a ninja girl. Okay, fine. How about someone I don't know, someone who's not her.
Like Black Cat?
No, other female leads, someone
Marvel girl.
You take someone what's her face?
Miss Marvel. No. Marvel.
Yeah, Miss Marvel. Someone like that. That would be a cool lead that they could could play with.
You could do Emma Frost. Nah, I don't know Emma Frost.
No, you really could do Emma Frost. That would be a bit weird. You could do, but nah.
Psylocke.
Psylocke. Psylocke.
You could, but that's still keeping within the
Yeah,
X-Men
you're right.
universe.
Yeah.
I mean, like branch out, like take some of the other characters that they have. I don't know. I just don't understand why they went with Elektra and then just did it so terribly. I mean, even for goodness sake, even a She-Hulk would have been better than Elektra. I mean, dear gosh.
You know, that actually would be kind of interesting.
She-Hulk and Hulk in the same film.
She-Hulk and Elektra.
Yeah, why not?
Awesome. There we
Brilliant.
go. Done deal.
Should be called She-Hulk versus
And
Elektra.
then, Fantastic Four. It's not the Fantastic Four. It's just Fantastic Four.
Which I remember when this was coming out, I was actually kind of excited. I wanted it to be good. I really wanted it to be good.
And, weirdly enough, I was on the set of Fantastic Four in Vancouver, Canada, when they were shooting it in December 2004. They were in the middle of production, and... Should I talk about this?
I don't know.
Yes.
I think it's appropriate enough. Okay, so Fantastic Four, it was produced by Ralph Winter, who had the ties with the film school that I went to, and I graduated from there the same year. And so they had this alumni course thing, like film trip thing, where we went for a week to Vancouver to check out all the facilities where they do film and media production. So we went to special effects houses, such as Rainmaker Studios, which is now a different name, I think. And we went to some sound recording studios and stuff. And then we also went... Well, the main thing was, of course, to visit Ralph Winter, who is the producer of X-Men 1, 2, and 3. And X-Men Origins Wolverine. And he also did Fantastic Four. And so we were there. And I thought it was going to be an okay film because, hey, how do I know it's going to be any bad, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you get these awesome call sheets. Call sheets, thank you. Especially when you get these awesome call sheets and they're like pink because it's afternoon or something, and you look at them and you're like, oh, look at the scenes that they're filming, and it all looks so official.
Sounds so good.
I know. And then you go and you're walking through. We went to this studio called Mammoth Studios, and it is quite mammoth-like. And we were walking in there, and it all felt so official. There were, security guards in the front, and they were like, "Oh, you guys gonna see the okay?" And they were like having to be on their walkie-talkies. And
they're coming in.
Yeah, they're coming in. And we go inside, and it was really nice. Just studio environments are really nice to be in my opinion. It feels very worky. It feels like we're doing something. It's not, it smells like fresh wood. Like when you go to like a warehouse, and it's like. All this, because that's what they do. They build the sets out of
that's true.
Plywood and all kinds of wooden materials, and then it gives off that wonderful new wood smell. And they were filming the scene. Okay, this is where I also thought it was going to be an okay film. Tim Story was directing the film, and we were in Reed Richards' house, which was a set, of course, in the studio, and it was the lab in the circle area. Mm-hmm. Right, that open one with I think the
Mr. Fantastic's lab.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Reed Richards, didn't I say?
Right, sorry, I'm not connected.
And it was funny. The DVDs that he had were like Scorpion King and garbage like that. Never mind. In the middle, in the middle of the set was this, that device for the radiation thing that he was trying to reverse the effects of that space radiation.
The polarity of the neutron flow.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Wow.
Look at me. I'm so bad with words. Excuse me.
Dude, that's just a quote from Doctor Who.
Oh, man, I was believing.
And I don't even know that. People are gonna listen to this and they're gonna think that I don't know anything about any of these things. It's like, what are you?
Who are you to talk about these films if you don't know anything?
You've already put Stan to sleep. I mean, Stan
hasn't been
wake up, Stan. Stan, wake up.
Yeah, Excelsior.
Go back to sleep, Stan.
And so anyway, there was this dramatic moment that I was witnessing while they were filming. It was with Iwan Grufford and Michael Chiklis, who plays the Thing, and Iwan Grufford plays Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic, of course. And the funny thing is, of course, I saw it was rubber, and it was funny how they were talking about it. It was foam, but they were talking about how, this isn't CG, guys. This is practical, guys. Look at that. He's not going to be CG. He's going to be real. He's going to be. And I was like, oh. And when I looked at him, it did feel foamy, and I touched the, there was a stunt double, and I was like, hey, can I touch the material? And yeah, of course, it was foam. So they were doing the scene, and of course, see, the thing is, when you're on a set and they start recording, they start shooting, like camera speed, rolling, you have to shut up. You don't talk. no one talks, and
Unless
I was so
someone
far,
farts.
and I wasn't very close to the camera, the steady cam that was being used, but I still had to not talk because I was talking to someone. I was talking to like a associate producer or something, and they were like, "Oh,
you were like, this movie's gonna be crap, right?"
Yeah.
He was like, "No, man."
So anyway, this silence is making me nervous.
Why?
Speak.
So anyway, okay, so this dramatic scene that they were filming, Michael Chiklis is, the Thing comes in, he's like,
Look at me, Reed! Look at me!
and then Reed's like, I am looking at you, right? And it was that kind of a dramatic moment, right? Like, you don't have to be ashamed of your
Rockness.
situation, yeah, And I was watching this and I was like, hey, they're acting, and he's like, oh, this doesn't look that bad, this movie. Anyway, to make a long story short, I thought it was okay, and then I watched the film in 2005. I was
all
wrong.
changed.
Yeah. It was not good.
No.
Talk.
Utterly terrible.
And John Ottman did the
I
music.
never really, like I said, I really, really wanted to like the film. I really wanted to go in and see the Fantastic Four. And, I mean, like, it was just so cheesy.
Yeah.
And
It was a comedy. It really wasn't even an action film.
What?
It wasn't even an action film. It was more of a comedy.
It wasn't an action at all. It's totes a comedy. It's annoying. Like, I remember seeing, like, what's his face, Chris Evans, in a film called Cellular, which was quite cheesy, but actually quite good. I thought, oh, he was really good in that film.
Oh.
And then you get this version of the Human Torch, and he's like,
Oh, man.
just this arrogant, like, I don't know, just dick. Like, there's no other word that I can describe, but like it was just terrible. And then you have Sue Storm, who's like a freaking supermodel.
Yeah,
it's like,
right.
all right, yeah, sure.
I'm a scientist, guys.
She's a
I'm wearing
rocket
glasses.
scientist.
And
I
guess
believe
what?
that.
Guess what? And she was talking about Jessica Alba in interviews. She was like, Stan Lee said I was the best Sue Storm. She's like the one that he imagined.
Well, that's true, honey.
But no, come on.
You are, yeah, exactly. Because Stan Lee is a dude, and he obviously was, what dude wouldn't picture a perfectly shaped female physique
Yeah, no.
as their character?
Yeah,
My
I don't.
goodness.
Yeah, I mean, Stan Lee and all his brilliance. Am I right?
That you are.
I think the main actor wasn't that bad.
Iwan Grufford. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
I think it's pretty good, well cast. I think.
Yeah, and for all intents and purposes, Johnny Storm. Chris, what's his name?
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. He would have been fine, especially knowing that we saw him.
I think it turned out to be like a pretty good actor.
Hey, when I was on set, Jessica Alba showed me pictures of her dog.
What was her
That's
dog name?
amazing.
Yeah, I think it was a pug.
The dog's probably dead
She
now.
showed you her
Yeah,
pooch.
it is. It's probably dead. What? Yeah,
I
she
said
showed me her
you her
puppies.
pooch. And yes, I mean that as an innuendo.
That's awesome. Okay. And this is stupid, but I just wanted to mention that everybody had those stupid email flippy uppy things back then.
Flippy uppy things.
The flippy uppy things, the clamshell flip uppy
Flippy phones
things.
or something.
Yeah,
What are you
email
talking
things.
about?
Exactly. No, I don't even know how to
it's
find
a transitional device.
It's just like it's
between,
not a laptop.
BlackBerry.
Yeah, it's a transitional device between the smartphones.
Yeah.
Blackberries. But it was just an email device for Wi-Fi, and that's what Jessica Alba was having, and she was showing me pictures for some reason. She's like,
Right.
"Look at my puppies, touch them."
I think the big. I mean, obviously the two main things were just obviously the directing.
I'm
and the
sorry, this
story.
went a little too long,
It
but
was
that's
just
just
the
'cause I
writing
was
of
on
that
set.
film was just terrible. Like there was nothing good about that story at all. Like even the ideas weren't good.
And Tim Story, he's a comedy director, isn't he? He made like Barbershop, the movie.
Okay.
And he comes in and he's directing Fantastic Four, and yeah, wasn't that great. But then again, we should all know that, we can't blame the director all the time, but the point is that, director has the final word. But even that is, debatable because there's always the studio heads who will always send in a bunch of notes that you can you can make a nice suit with.
Yes.
So that was.
So unfortunately, Fantastic Four was a dud, and it's funny if you look at it. Like it started off like quite good. You had like X-Men and Spider-Man, and then suddenly you get Daredevil, and it's like ooh, and then you get like Punisher, and you're like ooh, and then you get Blade Trinity, and then you get to the point where you come to 2006, and you have one comic book film the entire year.
And you
had two. You have two, but only one Marvel film. Marvel's films just poof, went to 1 all of a sudden.
Yeah, and it became X-Men: The Last Stand. And
stupid title. Just putting it out there.
Again, I have to say this just for the sake of saying it. Yeah, I was on the set of that one too. This was September 2005. I'm not going to talk much about it because what I said about film sets and stuff I already said with Fantastic Four. But then again, it was cool seeing, there was Famke Janssen was there as Phoenix, and Ian McKellen was there as Magneto, and a bunch of cast members were there, and it was fun because they were doing that camp. That was on the part where they were in this campsite. They were filming the mutant. Remember, like
they wish to cure us, but I say we are the cure, and blah blah blah.
And there were a lot of extras there. They were all sleeping in barrels.
But the best was one of the extras. He was supposed to.
Oh
be,
yes.
Part of the Brotherhood.
This is eyewitness account here in the crowd, right? These are not X-Men. These are just these mutants, right? And they all had these Omega tattoos. Did you notice that, Luke?
Yeah.
They're supposed to be like Omega mutants, something like that from the comics.
I don't know what the hell that was supposed to be. It was just
all right.
stupid.
Well, yeah, it was.
Just Brett Ratner being an idiot.
Brett Ratner knows nothing. I'm sorry. He's very short, and he's not very nice either. There's not.
He's very short.
Oh, he's super short. What's so funny about that? He is.
I was like, that's one reason why he's a bad director, because he's super short.
Well, he couldn't see the monitors. That's why he's so bad at directing. No, I'm just kidding.
And there's one guy in the crowd.
Yes. Okay. So eyewitness account here. We were looking at the crowd, right? And the camera people were filming the crowds. Reacting to Magneto doing the speech. And these are just like rogue mutants that came out of they're joining the Brotherhood of Magneto's cause.
We're starting a war.
Yeah.
And they were all cheering. Yeah, they're all like being all
rebellion.
Yeah. And then one of them had the greatest idea ever. He put 2 sticks together and he made an X. Yeah. And he thought he was being really clever, like and then the cameraman zoomed in. I saw it on the monitors. He was zooming on the X.
That's hilarious.
What is that?
I can't believe that guy was totally not informed
Luke,
at all.
Am I not right with this? That's just hilarious.
That's pretty dumb. Not gonna lie. I mean, I can envision that scene now. I can see it happen. I can see it in the director's cut of this film. How epic it's supposed to be, and just falling very, very flat.
And it's like not.
But
even,
I can see that
guy
guy's
team.
That guy when he got up, he's like, I'm going to be an extra on the X-Men.
Yeah,
he goes on the set. X-Men.
But it is. I mean, I would assume his idea is that he wants to do something that he's going to be able to watch the film and try and find him.
Yeah. It's totally the wrong scenario. Anyway,
they're not X-Men.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
So that's X-Men: The Last Stand. Bad movie.
Yes, it wasn't good.
Terrible.
It was very bad. But the sad part is that it made the most money.
Wolverine got chubby or something.
Well, but it makes sense.
Yeah,
though.
that too.
It makes sense as to why it would have made the most money, because X-Men 2 was so dang good. Everyone thought the X-Men 3 was going to be amazing.
This is the same thing. Like everyone going to watch.
Will not let us down.
The second
and even
Matrix
to be
film.
fair, the trailers looked amazing for it. You watch the trailers for X-Men: The Last Stand, and it looks like it's going to be a fun, interesting film.
And how cool is it? I'm sorry, I'm again being a stupid, selfish
horn.
man. Yeah, I'm tooting my own horn and saying like like when that trailer came out and I saw they used the shot from the camp scene thing where Magneto was like, "They wish to cure us," and I was like, "Hey, yeah, if you just imagine looking, like just on the far left, that I was standing there, yay." Luke did that.
Was that your story?
Was that your story?
That was my story.
You were standing there?
I was standing on the far left, like just away, just like a few feet away from
Next
the
time I
shot.
watch the movie, I'll imagine Philip was standing there.
Chubby,
little
16-year-old
fat
fat idiot.
with a blue poofy jacket.
Man, I was such a
and
stupid
khaki
idiot.
pants.
Yeah,
Standing there with
Khaki pants.
man, that was bad.
That was a great story.
bad time in my life.
That is one of your best stories.
I know.
Standing.
Well,
I'm just doing this for the sake of information.
I know. But
Sorry.
I'm joking around.
Like for me, it's whatever. Like X-Men. Yeah. So,
but the film
still in
itself,
2006.
it's bad.
Was
no, it's another bad film I've been on. I think it's because I've been on these films that they probably turned bad.
Maybe.
That's probably the
reason.
Yeah.
Okay, so next is Ghost Rider.
Oh no!
Which I think we can kind of skip because that was stupid. I don't know what they were thinking with Ghost Rider.
It's like
take her easy, dude.
When you say Ghost Rider, it can be
Rider.
easily confused with Ghost Writer.
Yes.
The movie with Ewan McGregor.
True. Or that there was an old TV kids television show called Ghost Rider as well.
Like what? Like
Ghost
Writer?
Writer.
Writer. Yeah.
That was on. Could be confused with that, but basically you have a crappy comic, a crappy actor, and a crappy story
and terrible
and it
CG.
fails.
It was bad. Well, what do you mean crappy actor? I thought Nicolas Cage was like the best
award-winning
actor.
actor, man. Award-winning.
Nick Cage, that wonderful, wonderful human being of an actor.
He's great.
Not the base. Anyway,
And then another wonderfully bad film. Man, 2007 is just
bad
littered
year,
with
man.
horrible
It's a
films.
very bad year.
And Spider-Man 3 came out. Oh,
I was
glory
actually
and
really
thunder.
I was quite a bit disappointment going to the theater watching that.
Yeah, I remember.
I was really
yeah.
hoping for something pretty good. I was thinking
No,
Spider-Man 2
no,
was
no,
good.
no. Jacob, listen, I looked at the trailers and I was like, Venom looks stupid.
Oh, that's true. We did look at the trailers.
Yes, and
There's still that hope of like
This
maybe
didn't-
they're
this
gonna
does-
do
this
with
looks
the
stupid.
Yeah,
suit.
there was a ton of hope for that film. Spider-Man 3 and X-Men 2. X-Men and Spider-Man have followed the same like trajectory. I can't even say that word. Jeez. Like they start off really good. They have an amazing sequel. Then they come to the third film that everyone's expecting to be amazing, and then you sit there and you're like, "What is this mesh of garbage? Like, why is Spider-Man like thrusting down the street? Like, why is he doing this? What are you doing?"
I don't know. I think Sam Raimi or whoever wrote it, I don't know, had some strange idea where they didn't realize that.
I think it was his brother.
That being emo at that time was kind of a thing, like for teenagers. And I don't understand why.
It feels
in the
like none
world
of them
they made-
understood what that meant.
Yeah, they didn't know until they thought that making Spider-Man kind of emo was something, bad or cool.
It was.
But
the problem
totally
is
didn't work.
the story of the black suit Spider-Man means that Peter Parker becomes not Peter Parker. He becomes a kind of a jackass. Like he just becomes a really rude,
Yeah.
Right, but-
arrogant person.
But they could have.
That story wasn't supposed to be in that film anyway. Venom wasn't supposed to be any part of that.
Right.
Mm.
I think there was also another problem was that they had two villains in the film, which kind of
Oh, and one of them was so uninteresting.
absolutely
My daughter, my daughter.
This dilemma of mine. I have to
my daughter.
save my daughter, but I also have to be. I have to
But the music
commit
was so
crime
nice.
to save my
That
daughter.
Wonderful little cue.
Music cue.
Bum, bum, bum,
Oh, plus,
bum,
you can't
bum,
forget they had
bum.
a third villain, which was
Yes.
Harry Osborn, and they just clumped him in
New
there,
Goblin.
and they made him the Surfer Goblin, which was bad.
Yeah, no, there was
Yeah.
too much stuff. It was just throwing
And then,
all kinds of crap.
and then, okay, there's so much that's so bad. Like, everybody's so selfish in that film, remember?
Yes.
Both of the main characters.
Mary Jane.
Oh,
and
Mary
Peter.
Jane, man. She's like, man, you play. And he's like, and she's being jealous of Peter being Spider-Man. It's so cartoony and.
I don't know what was up with Peter doing the jazz dancing. I still don't get what they were thinking with that. Were they thinking it was going to be something that was funny? Was it supposed to be cheesy on
I have
purpose?
no idea what that
Or-
was about.
Because when you watch it, you can't help but laugh because it's so
hilarious.
out of place. It doesn't fit at all.
There's more cookies. More cookies.
Yeah, I'm so bad. Make some cookies with nuts. Ooh, bad. Peter Parker. Ooh, cookies with nuts.
Oh.
Live on the edge. Ooh.
Then Venom was tacked on,
That was absolutely a tag on.
right? It was supposed to be like the Vulture first.
But what made it worse was he wasn't Venom 24/7. He had to go
Oh, yeah.
and open his.
And some people said, no,
face.
it gives him more of a humanity. Shut up.
Absolutely not.
Luke?
Did you
No.
fall asleep like Stan Lee?
No, it was just no.
Look,
no, I
Stan
agree.
is
No,
sleeping
Venom-
here, snoring
Venom
like a.
He's sleeping the sleep of the dead.
It seemed like they were trying to satisfy fans while at the same time, bringing their own ideas of what Venom should be like, and it just didn't work at all.
Ugh.
Yeah, well,
Ugh.
still the
Ugh.
main problem is that Venom wasn't supposed to be in the film. It was
Yeah.
just that was. I mean, they've mentioned that so many times that storyline wasn't supposed to happen, and that's.
No.
I think Spider-Man 3 seems to be a case where just studio involvement just took it down.
Actually, I
swirled it down the toilet.
You know what? That's partially true, but I also read the behind the scenes art book kind of thing. It was written by the co-producer Grant Curtis, and he wrote like sort of diary kind of thing with lots of artwork that explained, blah blah blah, and some of the days that they had filming the thing. And they were talking about during writing the script because, of course, for every Spider-Man film, they didn't take any breaks between movies. They just went straight on to the next Spider-Man. So the third one, it seems like that one was the one that took the longest time to come out because they were having lots of differences with, being creative, I guess. And no, I wanted to say creative differences, but I mixed up my words. I always mixed up my words. And so what happened in there was that they were, I think. It felt to me like, just by reading the text, that he never said anything like this, but it really felt like they were running out of steam. They didn't know what to do anymore. They were like, yeah, we'll just do this. And it's like, we'll have the Vulture in there. And then It's not going to be the Vulture, it's going to be Venom, because it seems like the fans want it, and like you said, probably the studio wanted it, and it felt, because like the movie is so long too, you know, it just feels like they were fed up with it. They're done, you know. It's sort of like,
yeah, no, I agree.
I like explaining my things by just using sound effects.
They were like, and they were like, yeah, no,
yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was just terrible. I don't know. It was, yeah.
There's so many things wrong.
And the weirdest thing was it was directed by Sam Raimi. That's the weirdest thing, I think. I don't know what was going on there.
Well, it's just like getting fed up with it, you know. Just
maybe.
And I think, craps. Oh no, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Let's get this over with. This was bad, and Jessica Alba looked even more fake.
Took it to a new level of bad,
one.
essentially.
Say again.
Is he falling asleep? It's Luke.
No, I couldn't hear him.
Look, Fantastic Four. Jessica Alba looked more fake than she did before.
True.
Oh yeah, because of her wig instead of actually having blonde hair.
Yeah, and her contacts looked really bad. And it wasn't.
Yeah, no, she was absolutely terrible. Again,
and then that was the worst Stan Lee cameo. I hated it so much.
Yes.
Everybody likes. I like the Stan Lee cameo still. It's okay. I mean, it's tradition now, so it's fine. My favorite one, of course, is from X-Men because he's just in the background. I mean, the foreground. He's just getting hot dogs or making hot dogs, serving hot dogs.
It's the same. It's the same with the Spider-Man 1 and 2. He's just in the background. It's in Spider-Man 3. Whenever he talks,
in Spider-Man 1, I save a girl from no. Yes, and in Spider-Man 2, I kind of do the same thing, but I can't remember. Sorry.
And then this, but listen, in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, he comes in. Remember, he's like a special guest to Reed Richards' celebrity wedding. Ugh, and and he's like,
I should be in there somewhere.
And they're like, no, we don't see you anywhere.
But I'm Stan Lee. Oh no, don't take me away.
And it's like, you don't say that. The whole point is that he's different people all the time. It's not that he's Stan Lee. Okay, I don't think we're even going to put this on the episode.
What?
Me talking about the
anecdote of Stan Lee things? Yeah. Well, we need to get through some more movies here.
Sorry, okay, now, look. After Fries of the Silver Surfer, with Galactus being a big ball of fuzz, and the Silver Surfer looking kind of cool,
Galactus was actually spray painted with a silver spray paint.
Jacob, that's the Silver Surfer.
What did I say?
You said Galactus.
I meant the Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Silver Souffle.
Silver
Souffle. So after that, Marvel Studios appeared. Hooray, yes. Marvel Studios.
With that little interesting clip on the bonus features of Transformers, which was a terrible film.
Really?
What bonus features?
Yeah, there's a special little tiny trailer clip for Iron Man on the
interesting
on Transformers DVD. That's just a scene of basically Iron Man flying over the desert, being Iron Man-y. And so it's kind of that teaser that you get for it.
And then it came out.
In May. And you know what? And I said, remember when we finished watching it, I said it was probably the best comic book movie I've seen since Spider-Man 2.
I think it was a breath of fresh air after all these terrible films are coming out.
It's so true.
Yeah. It really was. I think I saw it in cinema. I'm not going to lie. I probably saw it 2 or 3 times. Me and old Carly Kester went and saw it, I think, a couple of times. Nice.
Yeah,
I know I definitely saw it with her, and then I saw it at least another time, maybe another time with another person. But yeah.
I think it was a really nice approach, though, in the film, and I think that they cast Robert Downey Jr. as a really good idea.
And it's nice because he was not doing anything at all before that. And I remember hearing about that in 2006 because I was doing a music video behind-the-scenes thing, and one of the director's siblings said, Iron Man is being cast, and they cast Robert Downey Jr. I'm like, all right, I only know him because of Gothica, but I didn't even see that film. He didn't do anything. And, it's great because he did an excellent job. He sort of did the Jack Sparrow thing that Johnny Depp is. And with that, I mean, he
took a character and he made it his own.
Yeah.
He didn't have to. He just stole a character and did a really good job with it.
Yeah. It's directed by Jon Favreau, who is an actor. So who
was in Daredevil. He was Daredevil's best friend.
Oh, was he? Oh, that's right. He was.
He was, yeah.
And he did a pretty good job with that. It's commendable.
Yeah, I agree.
Work.
So it picked up where X-Men and Spider-Man left off in terms of creating a film that was very realistic, but then also very fantastic.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I think Iron Man did obviously took things a step further and tried to make it embedded in our actual real world. I mean, using news agencies and other kind of shows like Mad Money and whatnot to make it feel like it was could be happening right here and now. Obviously using things like the celebrity status and whatnot to incorporate real lifeness.
And Jeff Bridges as Obadiah Stane.
Tony.
And then the feminine guy as Rhodey,
who is still complaining about not being Iron Man 2.
Terrence,
he's still complaining.
Terrence.
I just read an article today about him complaining about it.
Terrence. What's his name again?
Howard.
Terrence Howard. Thank you. Yeah, he's still complaining.
Yeah, there's an article today.
Tony.
Before we started this chat, I read an article about him. He was mentioning how it was Robert Downey Jr.'s fault that he wasn't in Iron Man 2. Robert Downey Jr. took all the money.
That's amazing.
But he's... never mind. I'm not even going to talk about it.
My only problem with Iron Man was that when Tony got a real American cheeseburger, he went to Burger King. He should have gone to McDonald's. That's a true American burger.
True.
That's like the symbol of America, man. McDonald's, not Burger King.
First things first.
Iron Man was also more funny too, but it had serious moments, like when he was in the terrorist camp.
Yeah, no, it was a really good blend of like just wit and seriousness. Like,
and you got the acting stuff too. Like, there's a lot more focus on interactions with the characters and all that witty banter.
Yeah.
Tony. But I think there was a good ratio of Tony and Iron Man. It was a good balance. You did, because for example, like I said before, for me in Iron Man 3, there was not enough Iron Man. But I think in this film, I think they balanced it out pretty well.
And with that, Marvel Studios was able to do more things. And they had that plan. Remember the plan to do?
What plan?
Because they started, Marvel Studios started as a studio. They wanted to make their own movies with their own production company. So their plan was to do the whole Avengers thing, the whole interconnected world.
Even that was a tease on the end of Iron Man 1.
I remember we stayed through all the credits. We didn't even know it was going to happen. We were just staying through the credits because we want to stay through the credits because there might be something at the end.
Yeah.
And then here he comes, Samuel L. Jackson. He's here with the eye patch, and everybody was cheering.
That's not David Hasselhoff.
Good.
Who's upset that he was never cast as Nick Fury?
Really?
Oh,
man, so many upset actors.
Howard should just go and make their own
club. Make a club for like rejected actors or something like that.
Or a Nick Fury and
Rhodey
film. I gotta admit, when I first saw that scene, I was slightly.
Me too.
I was slightly meh.
Me too. I thought it was cheesy.
I was like, why do they cast Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury? And I mean, that sounds so silly, but I just thought, well, why? Why do we need him as Nick Fury?
Yeah.
Like, why don't we stick with the traditional what Nick Fury should look like and stuff? Like, why? I don't know.
But then again, in the comics, they did it was it in the Ultimate series?
The Ultimate, yeah. They made a Nick Fury look like Samuel Jackson.
So now they got Samuel Jackson, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was okay. And I remember this little child. Remember? He was, after everyone was cheering for that post-credits scene.
I am Iron Man.
Yeah, and the kid, what?
I am Iron Man.
No, post-credits.
Oh.
The Avengers Initiative.
Welcome home, sir.
Yeah. I am Iron Man, blah, blah, blah. You're in a bigger world, Mr. Stark. And he's like...
You think you're the only superhero out there?
Yeah. I'm here to talk about the Avengers Initiative. And then the kid was like, whoa, Iron Man 2. He's like showing his
fingers.
Two. It's coming out. This is 2008. And it was okay.
Little did we know that Iron Man 2...
Okay, and then Incredible Hulk came out, which was they were trying to fix all the problems for
Still
Hulk.
not succeeding.
And I think that you and I will, Luke, we will have a disagreement here because I didn't like Incredible Hulk very much.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it better than I liked Hulk.
Yeah, I mean, on an entertainment level.
I thought that Edward Norton was I thought he was well cast. I thought he did an okay job with it. I thought it was nice just to see. It was nice to finally see a superhero film that didn't focus so much on an origin story.
Yeah,
absolutely. I agree with that. Yeah,
and it just kind of just dove right into the Hulk and the whole kind of chase stuff. Now, was it the best story? No. Was it? It still wasn't very good,
especially with the ending fight, which went so it was just so CG and so bunga junga junga.
Yeah,
bunga junga
and the abomination monster. They took his ears off, like in the design, because like he's known for having these nice, majestic dragon ears kind of things, and which I think was a very stupid idea because he turned into this, amorphous blob of a creature that looked intense and, but it was just no. It's I hate those kinds of designs, those kinds of crazy, extreme designs where they just look like
inject him with testosterone.
Yeah, and it gets so annoying. And never mind that. Just wanted to say that the only reason they took off the ears was because, well, if the Hulk was there, he'd tear off his ears first. That's the first thing he'd do. He'd bite his ears off. And I'm thinking
that's just like saying that. What's that guy called? The Thing? What is it that you're talking about? The Abomination. It's like saying, man, the first thing the Abomination would do is pull off the Hulk's pants. Same argument. Doesn't make any
seriously. Or pull his hair. Take his hair.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Stupid ideas. Stupid decisions.
Yeah. I think what was nice, though, is that, even though the Hulk design wasn't amazing, it was much
less
better
nerfy.
than the...
Yeah.
It was much better than the other one.
They toned down the nerf.
With colors, and they got the glowing eye things from the TV show.
At the same time, they made him too ripped, though.
Yeah, and at the same time, they kind of made him look a little smaller, I think, and they made him like super ripped because the director has since apologized for the ending of Hulk, and he said it wasn't the way he wanted it, which is, good.
He had some problems with the studio.
I'm glad to hear that because I didn't like the ending either, like with that video game fight at the end.
Well, they definitely made Hulk look, or they tried to make him look, they've tried to make him look sexy, really. That was what they were trying to do.
That's not going to work.
It's not. The Hulk is supposed to be a Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be scary, and that Hulk really isn't scary looking. Like, he's just a green dude. Like, they made him. They took a bit of an idea from She-Hulk, really, where she's not really a monster.
Yeah,
she's
I know.
Just
that's one of the reasons I don't like She-Hulk at all, because it's just like, what's this? Come on.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
What else can we say about the Hulk?
I don't know. I think.
Well, at the end of the Hulk, you had old Tony Stark come in.
Remember? No. Sorry. Before that, people thought it was Thor's hammer falling down in that one scene where they're in the cave.
Oh yeah.
The Hulk throws a rock and then he shouts at the thunder.
Yeah.
The lightning. And then there's this little projectile that was falling down, which was obviously the rock that he threw out of the camera's sight and then back into frame very far away into the distance. And there are people like, it's Thor's hammer. It's Thor's hammer.
Just typing.
It's Thor's hammer. Oh, Thor.
Yeah. No, they were ridiculous.
Now,
with that.
when I invented the Hulk in
Welcome back, Steve.
1962, he was supposed to be originally gray. Now, I said, we had problems with the publishers, and
yeah, thanks.
Are you reading a quote?
No.
And then he turned
They
green.
had problems with the printer, and he came out green.
They came out green, so why don't we just make him green? No, because the colors were really hard to turn into gray, so it was really complicated print. So, green. Duh.
Sorry. Okay.
Oh, Stan.
So yeah, what you said at the end, Tony Stark came in. He's like, "We're putting together a team."
Yes.
And that was the end of Edward Norton. Bye. See you later. Bye.
And then we get to
Punisher
X-Men
Warzone.
Punisher Warzone is a great film. I watched it with my family.
None of us watched it, right?
Huh? No, none of us watched it.
I've never seen it.
But apparently it was made because everybody was, as fans do, if it's a gritty and dark comic, they get very upset that the first Punisher was PG-13.
That's why they wanted the
Which
sequel?
I'm pretty sure he was. He was a PG-13.
That's the only reason they made a sequel?
Yeah, because
Hard
it's
R.
it's going to be full of violence and gore and
Good sound effects. Good sound effects.
And like, oh, my spleen. Why'd you have to take my tongue out? Justice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, that we none of us have
So it's
seen
probably
that.
bad
Skip it.
because that's the only reason they made it. And then we come to the amazing 2009 X-Men Origins Wolverine.
A whole bag of chips and more.
It's everything in a whole bag of chips.
I said by a YouTube review.
I've seen that review,
Yeah.
and it's
People
ridiculous.
should go watch it.
Oh, by the way, guys, I watched X-Men Origins Wolverine just 3 days ago
Why?
because my friend Michaela didn't see it, and we wanted to. And I felt like watching a really crappy film, just really crappy. And I did, and I wasn't disappointed by the fact that it was really crappy.
You know what? It was on television here about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Where it
Like,
belongs.
on ITV or something like that. And my housemates were like, "Oh, let's watch it. It's Hugh Jackman and his shirt's off." I'm like, "Guys, this film is so boring." And my housemates are females, by the way. I was like, "This is so boring. Let's not watch it." I was like, "I'm leaving. I'm gonna just go away until you get bored, and then I'll come back." And I left for about 20 minutes, and then came back, and they were like, "Oh man, I don't remember this film being this boring." Like,
Yay.
what did I tell you? And then they turned it off.
Until the Hugh Jackman butt shot comes in.
yeah,
butt
so the
shot?
butt shot comes in, and
And
they
the-
gotta go back.
The butt that
But-
hasn't seen the light of day.
Yeah, but no, it was just that was another film I was so darned excited about because obviously
I
Wolverine's my
know.
favorite
I
superhero.
remember this. You were like, "Oh man, Wolverine!" Oh,
His
I-
origin story is so interesting, and they really could have done something really, really
yeah, I know.
cool
Like
with that.
in the original comic, I think that he was like it was all in like some creepy, scary, nighttime environment in a base somewhere
Yeah,
around
yeah.
Alcala.
yeah, well,
like, I don't
there's
know.
so many aspects to his
Totally
origin.
And it was
You take,
winter
like,
time,
his-
wasn't it? It was like cold. It
Yeah.
was scary.
Yeah,
And
well,
the
like you take his
Killzone
childhood
soldiers.
origin, right?
Yeah.
And I mean that in itself could have
Yeah,
been a
sorry,
film.
Jacob mentioned something, and it was funny, but then I remembered the Killzone guys who were
The soldiers, the scientists, the kill zone scientists with the goggles.
Yeah, in
and
all the in
breathing masks.
the flashbacks for X-Men 1
That
and
was
2.
what I wanted to see. The flashbacks
Yeah.
that we
The
saw.
flashbacks were better than the stupid movie that they made. The set was so ugly
The
and
60s
basic and
arcane
simple.
machines in the
And
background with
I watched
giant
it
buttons.
and I watched it just like 3 days ago, and I couldn't believe how simple the whole procedure was. It was really dumb, and it took them just like
insert
1
adamantium,
minute,
a big
just 1
giant
minute to
red
the
button.
adamantium thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to know how just injecting metal into his
Simple
skin
process.
just grafted magically to his bones.
Easy.
Yeah, I know, and I was talking. I said they could have, I mean, I would have done it a completely different way. I wanted to make it look more complex, but they could have made at least one little thing that would have been more interesting, which was that they couldn't pump it all in one go because it might have deteriorated his skin and made some deformations in his muscles. And so I was thinking, why don't they do it in like waves? They have to do one wave first, and Wolverine's like, "Oh," and it's like, Gene, we have to do another one. And then they have to do another one, and then they have to do another one. And I think that would have been even like worse, like more discomforting on the audience, and it would have been a more interesting and fascinating way of how you're gonna with all the science-y stuff with that.
Yeah.
But then again,
Yeah,
that's
no.
just one little idea, and like if you want to do this again, you would probably do it better and look at the comic for a change and see how they did it.
For me, the biggest problem was the ending where he gets shot and he loses memory. Because
Oh,
from what I
it's all
learned
really
from
cheesy.
the old films was that he signed up for the procedure, and he probably
Yeah, I thought
voluntarily wiped
yes,
his memory.
I thought it was a kind of a Total Recall thing. Remember?
Exactly, yeah.
Where what's his name? I keep forgetting.
Dennis
Arnold.
Quaid.
Dennis Quaid, not Dennis Quaid.
That was a terrible.
Who's Dennis
Arnold
Quaid?
That Dennis Quaid is the actor from Dragonheart.
Wow.
No, it's
Douglas Quaid.
Yeah, just Quaid.
Let's call him Quaid.
Quaid. He so you remember he was actually not a very good guy before, and he signs up for this procedure to do this thing, and then he gets amnesia, and then he turns into the new Quaid. Wait, sorry.
Philip.
He turns into Quaid.
It's a bit different. in
Yeah, Quaid's the
Total
good
Recall.
guy, and then, but I'm just saying that the previous guy wasn't the same as the
Yes.
later guy, and that's what I liked. And I thought Wolverine was the same way. I thought that Logan was not so good
Right.
of a guy morally, at the beginning, and that's why he signed up on this procedure because he wanted to help them do something.
He had enough.
And then when he got the amnesia thing, then he started having to, he started developing a new personality, and he became a better person in that regard. You know what I'm saying? Something like that, Luke?
Yeah.
Am I just rambling on like a crazy man?
Well,
Like
you
Stan
and,
Lee.
You and Stan.
Yeah, stand there.
Aye.
Rambling like some crazy guys. But yeah, no, it was just, again, they kind of, Gavin Hood, the director, just...
Yeah. Again, just like Ang Lee. Just like Ang Lee.
I want to say something. Hang on.
Okay.
I watched some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, and he was saying something about how he's like, oh, this is our version of Alkali Lake.
Yeah.
Like justifying
Maybe the
himself
studio's
by
version.
not, doing what Bryan Singer did to connect it and make it like seamless and nice. He was like, "Well, this is
Yeah.
our idea."
That's
I was like,
what
I don't care about your idea. I like Bryan Singer's idea. Do that idea.
Yeah. I
Dumbass.
never understood when they do that sort of thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if you heard him saying, "Oh, it was the studio's idea." Actually, I don't know, but yeah, it's very curious how when filmmakers do that. Because in my opinion, like when I think of stuff like that, I never really think about our idea. Like I never think of that because, especially for comic book movies, I mean, there's so much
none of it's your idea
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there we go. And you know that the whole movie was filmed in New Zealand.
Yes.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
The New Zealand craze.
You mean Middle Earth?
Okay,
Okay, so that was 2009.
no, we're here to sing the Wolverine theme. Okay.
Music was terrible on that.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yes.
good. I listened to it.
Not
Yes.
even good.
No. And Harry Gregson
The
was usually
Printworks
good
version
stuff.
with the Transformers music was better.
Yeah.
But guys, Gambit.
Gambit. I know who you are, Gambit.
Oh, you are Gambit. You're a
Everybody was
character
going
that's thrown
crazy
into the
about
field
that.
for
I
no
was
reason.
watching
nuts.
Comic-Con. I remember I was watching the footage from Comic-Con. Someone was recording that preview trailer that they were showing in Comic-Con. Everybody was going nuts. They were screaming because this looks so great, Wolverine. And then Gambit. I know who you are, Gambit. And you can't hear anything. Any
So
dialogue.
true.
And
No,
poor
it's true.
Taylor Kitsch, who plays Gambit, he was in like 3 different flops in the past 2 years. And now he's probably not going to be in any films we will see that are big anymore.
He'll make a comeback.
It's very sad.
Just watch him.
Unfortunate. Series of unfortunate events.
So guys, Iron Man 2.
Sorry. Here we go. Now more Marvel Studios films. Iron Man 2. What did you think, Jacob? Iron Man 2.
I think Iron Man 2 didn't deliver.
No.
It didn't deliver. I think that's the bottom line.
And I remember someone on the internet, someone on the internet said, well, Iron Man 2's purpose was to just make it a bigger world, expand the
Whatever
world.
that means.
That's why it wasn't that great of a film, because it was busy trying to make a bigger world with the Avengers, with Nick Fury, with Scarlett Johansson. I mean,
You got that right.
Black Widow,
Yeah.
Natasha Romanoff. And that's what they were trying to do, so that's why it wasn't that great of a film. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right, suckers. That film was terrible. It wasn't
I didn't-
terrible.
I wouldn't say terrible,
It
I'd just say-
I think visually and all that kind of stuff, it was really nice looking, but I think that like the story was just too. It was weird because it wasn't like it was over. It was like it was like bloated. There wasn't a lot in it, but it just felt like it was just a 2-hour commercial for the Avengers. That's all
I
it
know.
was.
No, it's expanding the world. It's an artistic.
And it lacked in pacing. It lacked in structure. It was.
And the
Yeah.
characters are getting annoying, and in my opinion,
it's a 2-star film, 2 stars.
It's a 2-star film.
And I mean, I know that. I mean, I've heard things about that film in its inception that it had a lot of troubles or whatnot, or studio involvement that created a bunch of
Oh, that's right, because they were getting bought out by Disney. Yeah.
So there was lots of things that were affecting
Yeah.
it as well. And at the end of the day, it was just very, very ho hum.
Yeah, man, we've been talking for.
We're
2
getting
hours.
tired at this point.
We're almost done.
gonna have
We're
to
almost
push
done.
on.
We're almost done. We're almost at Thor: The Dark World.
Almost.
So yeah, Iron Man.
We're on to
2.
So Thor, Iron Man
So-
2 didn't deliver. Now we go to Thor because Hulk kind of tanked and was forgotten about really quickly. Where Marvel really was kicking off with their cinematic universe and trying to lead to the Avengers really starts with Iron Man 2 leading into Thor, because
Yeah.
that's what they started putting their
yes.
their little Easter eggs that were more
For the next film.
progressive. Yeah. So you get to Thor,
And Thor was kind of
and-
like the first new character they brought in that's
Oh,
part of
yeah.
the Avengers, essentially.
Yeah.
yeah.
And to me, to be honest, it felt It felt a little bit like Iron Man 2. It just felt like this movie that was made just to do something, and that's introduce Thor. Right? Here's Thor, and here's a mediocre story with Thor. This is Earth. Oh, it's Earth.
Yeah,
and then there's Loki, but I don't even remember him in this film.
There, and then they were in Utah, or where was that?
Yeah, they were in the desert.
The setting wasn't the most stimulating.
And then Natalie Portman and her buddies.
Yeah,
the scientist people.
Yeah.
Another.
I think it wasn't that interesting, and I think it climaxed,
with the pizza oven guy.
The pizza oven guy. Yeah. Remember that guy? The enemy, the knight that kind of just spews heat out of his face.
And this was directed by Kenneth Branagh.
Oh yeah. I think it wasn't shot
again, just like Kenneth Branagh and Branagh.
I think Branagh. I don't know.
Just like him and who were we talking about before? I forgot. We were talking about a movie and X-Men Origins Wolverine. Both of those directors are kind of renowned, and like Gavin Hood directed this independent film called Tsotsi, which was based on a real life event, and it got an Academy Award and everything. And so let's put him in for X-Men Last Stand. He's going to make just as a great film as that.
Not happening.
And same thing with Thor. Kenneth Branagh, of course. We have to get him because there's so many. Yeah, he does all these Shakespearean movies. He's obsessed with that stuff. So of course he's going to make Thor a Shakespearean marvel.
A Shakespearean marvel.
And
I think in the end it just didn't turn out to be that interesting.
No, it fell flat. I mean, I remember walking out thinking, like, it was okay, but I didn't have any desire to see that film again.
Yeah, so it was just...
I think the bottom line, though, is that if it wasn't connected to the Avengers, I think it would make it
even
more or less interesting.
Then, in 2011, we also got X-Men First Class.
Which was, 20th Century Fox, not Marvel Studios, but what was nice about this is that they took out the stupid X-Men Origins idea. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Because they were going to do like X-Men Origins Storm, X-Men Origins Cyclops, X-Men Origins Magneto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ugh. I remember the horrible cameo with Patrick Stewart in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
It's okay. You're safe now.
Oh. Ugh. Okay. But X-Men First Class did something fairly new. I liked it. I think it was pretty good.
Yeah. Instead of being like it was another origin story, but it did it in a way that was, it brought a breath of fresh air back to the X-Men franchise that was quite quickly just dying and becoming really stale.
Yeah.
And this
just did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the actors, the story, like everything about it was just a really good, refreshing thing.
I need to see it again.
You should. It's good. And it connect really nicely with X-Men 1.
Yes, that's what I like too. I'm so glad they didn't go, okay, let's reboot this.
Yeah. And like even though there are continuity issues, most of the continuity issues really just stem from Wolverine Origins. If you pull out Wolverine Origins and just act like that doesn't exist, it really flows relatively seamless. I mean, there's just a few little things you'd be like, oh well, there's this issue here, but they're so minute that that just really flows nicely.
And I also like how they set it in the 60s. Well, obviously, it has to be in continuity, but they didn't draw attention to the fact that it was the 60s, and I really hated
it.
When
had
they
a
do
fun,
that.
like it felt like you were watching a film that was made. It felt like you were watching a James Bond film.
Yeah.
To me, and that not like it was made to look like a James Bond film, but it felt like this film was like made around the same time as From Russia with Love.
And it's so funny because me and Jacob were looking at Michael Fassbender with that hat and the suit, and we're it could be James Bond.
I definitely think Michael Fassbender could be a really good James Bond.
Of course,
I agree.
Especially if it was set in the 60s again.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
That would be
nice.
really good.
But then again,
my whole thought after X-Men First Class came out was that they would be brilliant to do like, put James Bond back in the 60s. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
Smoking at the casino.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, X-Men First Class, well done.
Except for Kevin Bacon, he was kind of boring.
Oh, I have to say I didn't like Kevin Bacon.
I didn't mind him.
As a villain, I think he
him.
wasn't very strong. He wasn't that evil, and I think his acting... I don't know, Kevin Bacon to me feels like a television actor, and that sounds really mean, and I know it's like insulting, but I think that... I don't know, it just doesn't feel like... it doesn't feel like he really puts that much effort into his roles.
Yeah,
his
but
dinner roles.
but it's okay, Luke. If you like, it's okay. We there's no we don't have any animosity towards each other.
No.
So right, it's cool.
I mean, for me, the worst character in that film was Emma Frost.
Yeah,
and there's a
Frost.
good reason why she's not in the next film. It's because she was crap. But yeah,
and so then we have dun 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
I don't remember the
Just
Thor
copy the
theme.
same
See, I
thing.
should have sung all
Thor
the...
doesn't have a theme, to be honest.
Well, the new one kind of does. I
New
just
one
forgot
kinda
it
does.
again.
Kinda.
I should have sang all the themes whenever we play.
Yeah,
Oh,
too late
dear.
now. Captain America was, I think, overall better than Thor in terms of the kind of the predecessor films to the Avengers.
Yeah, it was more interesting.
It was more interesting. I think it got some things wrong, but I think at the same time,
I think I got a lot of things wrong.
Yeah, I
didn't
didn't
like
like
it
the
very
vibe so much necessarily in the film.
Well, see, Joe
didn't-
Johnston, he's a concept artist by origin. He did some concept art for Industrial Light and Magic back in the day for Lucasfilm when they were doing the first Star Wars and everything. You know, I think he made up the shape for the TIE fighters and stuff like that.
Oh.
But as a director, I think he's a very average director. You know, like he's a very safe director. It's like he knows how to make a conventional film, and I don't think he particularly would be able to make anything more than that. And I hate saying that. I feel so bad about bad mouthing all these people, but I mean, like, it's just
That's your impression, right?
That's my impression.
I didn't know exactly what they were trying to do.
Because he did Jurassic Park 3, and we all know how bad that was.
How great that film was.
Yes, great.
Well, I mean, like, for me, comparing Captain America to what had come beforehand in terms of Marvel Studios, like, so Thor was a bit of a letdown. Iron Man 2 was pretty big letdown. Captain America overall was better than Thor and better than Iron Man 2. And it was nice to see, again, I thought it was quite nice to see a story that was set in a different time period. But
yes.
I think the main problem is it is one of those stories where, one, it takes 40 minutes for him to become Captain America. Why does it take that long? It should have been done within 20 minutes of the film.
True, and for me, it's not that. That's the issue, that when he becomes Captain America, he doesn't do a lot.
Well, no, so that's what I'm saying. Like, they really should have put him in the suit quicker so that they could devote more time to the more interesting aspects of the story, which the Captain America and his team, like, hunting down all of these secret operations of the Red Skull and destroying them. Like, that to me was a much more interesting story than what we actually got to see. And because what we really got to see was just, Captain America going to all these different states and hanging out with those star-spangled babes and whatnot, singing their little song. And
when Captain America throws his mighty shield.
And then the Red Skull himself was
again
man.
Did any of you guys
feel
feel
so over the top?
Yeah,
oh,
but
Hugo Weaving.
Did any of you guys feel like his lines
he
were
was
complete
underdeveloped,
comedy?
to be honest?
No, I just want to say that did any of you guys feel like the lines that he delivered were just comedic? I don't know.
Hilarious.
Was it serious?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I was laughing whenever he was talking.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. It was like B-movie stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why he said he doesn't want to be in the next ones.
Because no one took him
Hugo
seriously,
Weaving.
or what?
No, because he feels like he's not very interested in it.
Yeah.
And I love the
Red Skull
montage
wasn't
in the
an
movie. It
interesting-
was so funny.
Yeah,
was
the Red
brilliant.
Skull just wasn't an interesting character. He was just, he didn't feel like he was an arch enemy. He just felt like, just some redheaded guy who's gonna blow up places. just because
Literally
he can.
redheaded. Doing the doing the doing.
Hey, wasn't his name like connected something to like Agent Smith? His name was
Schmidt.
Schmidt.
Oh yes, this is so
Yes.
great.
Agent Smith and Schmidt.
Agent Schmidt.
Such a wonderful connection. there.
I love the montage. I love the
was
montage.
great.
Remember the montage where Captain America and his friends are doing good stuff, and everywhere the I was gonna say Gray Skull. Every time the Red Skull walks in and sees his base ruined because curse you, Captain America. Remember that? He's driving in his car. What was he doing?
I don't
was he going
know.
out to the movies? Was
His
he watching-
Rolls Royce. No,
That
my
huge,
base is
that huge
destroyed.
car, that
Yeah, and then he
obnoxiously huge
parks and
car.
he sees his like one of his evil bases destroyed and lit on fire, and all he does is go. "Arr." It's so great, and the music. Dun, 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 dun.
I don't know what was going on there.
Now, when I created Captain America...
Stan, you didn't create Captain America.
Stan, I thought you were sleeping.
But let's draw comics the Marvel way.
You can't even draw. That was my joke.
Sorry if it didn't fly.
Boom.
So
anyway,
after this,
we're in 2012, guys.
we're already in 2012. Good.
Look,
good.
Ghost Rider.
Can we skip Ghost Rider, please? Because none of us saw it, probably. Did you see it, Luke?
Yeah.
Ghost Rider Spirit
no,
Adventures?
I never saw it.
It's
so
probably stupid. It's directed by the same guys.
It's the same thing as the first one.
Yeah.
Crappy actor, crappy character.
I think they were like making a case
film.
that the CG was going to be better or something like that, but
Yeah.
it ended up being just as bad.
And it's directed by those two guys who did Crank. So it's kind of like the same thing.
They should have recast Ghost Rider.
No, because Nicolas
as-
Cage, he loves everything. He's like, dude, I'm the Ghost Rider. That's me. I'm the Ghost Rider. And he doesn't want anybody. No one else is going to be the Ghost Rider.
Good thing we can skip that movie. And then,
Yes.
then finally,
So anyway,
get
so
to-
Marvel's
Avengers.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 ba-dum, dun, 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 bum, 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 dun, 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 dun.
Okay,
yes,
I think we talked about the Avengers
we talked
before.
about that before in the first episode.
we did.
It's pretty
and
good.
Marvel did a really good job finally
Yes,
cultivating
good
all
job,
their
well
stuff
done,
and making a
excellent,
really good film
excellent.
that utilized all the characters really well.
Yes, and it had, and instead of Edward Norton, you had Mark Ruffalo, and he did a pretty.
He's probably
good
the
job,
best
too.
Hulk. I'd
Here's
say.
my question: why don't they make a new Hulk movie with Mark Ruffalo now? It feels like
I
he's just
think
going to be
because-
here for
yeah.
Avengers.
It's they mention it time to time, but I think the Hulk is such a it's such a risky franchise now because they've
Because
they've
of those
ruined
two.
him so much between Hulk and then the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah,
That
but you could
can he handle his own film
right,
again.
but you could probably have a Hulk movie and then add one of the Avengers characters in there.
You could, but I don't know if I would like to see that.
Like as a side, like one of the main characters in their own films. Like let's say I'm going to just say like Tony Stark, for example. He could just be a side character who's doing something and helping him do something or whatever.
Yeah.
And it,
Yeah, it's true. It would be cool to see, but unfortunately, isn't going to happen.
yeah, well.
So yeah, Avengers, well done, Marvel.
And
Well
then
done.
another reboot, The Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I haven't
Well, the
thought of this
first
at
of
all.
the reboots.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's gonna be 6 movies, man. Yeah.
I believe them. Yes. Well, it used to be Spider-Man 4, but then mid-production, apparently, like like days before filming, they decided to cancel it.
Spider-Man
Something
4 is like the pre-production for Jurassic Park 4.
like that. Yeah.
It's never gonna be made.
Well, Jurassic Park 4 is going to be.
I know, but I'm saying like it was never gonna.
And it's called Jurassic World,
I
like
mean-
Disney World. Get it straight.
Yeah, I don't like that idea. I don't like the name at least. But yeah,
No, the name is atrocious.
The Lost World, Jurassic World.
yeah. See, it's bad. Jurassic
The
Park,
Amazing
The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World.
Bad. So the Amazing Spider-Man, I think it was strange going to watch the film because, like you said, Luke, the movie came out so quickly after. It's only been 10 years, right?
10 years
And
since the first
in the
one,
span
not
of
10 years even
films-
since the last one.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's not that long ago. You know what I mean?
No.
I think.
Oh, but
Spider-Man's
guess what?
fresh
Guess
in
what
our
someone said?
memories.
Guess what someone said? He said, "Not long ago for you, because you're an old fart." One of the producers said this, but long ago for all the kids nowadays.
I mean, it's true.
you know
but
what? Grow. No, he's not to grow up. He's like, this isn't for you. This is for the kids.
I think it should be for everyone, shouldn't it? But I think
It was not a necessary.
it didn't feel necessary.
Reboot?
I know they're trying to bring in those elements more from the comics, right? And I think for some reason a big deal was those spider cartridges, his
Yeah,
web
yeah.
cartridges, which to me is like, I really liked what they did in the original Spider-Man films,
James Cameron
where they
made that
actually
one up.
made it be part of his spider powers.
That was James Cameron's idea.
Yeah?
Oh, Lord James Cameron.
It's just a little small touch that kind of adds,
Yeah.
to the films. And
James Cameron said he wanted something with mandibles, and Predator came out. No, it's half true, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do enjoy. I enjoyed the Amazing Spider-Man overall. Thought it was decent, but it does tread over a lot of ground that we've already
yeah.
been.
I guess that's why I don't like it that much, though.
Yeah, it didn't stand
it's
out very
okay,
well.
but yeah, it doesn't stand out, and I think
Yeah.
that
But the nice things about it was that Spider-Man felt more like I don't know, more like Spider-Man, sort of, because like
a bit.
Like we said,
I think that was the bit that I really liked the most. Is that this particular version of Spider-Man himself does fit that mold a bit better than I think what Tobey Maguire did. But I still really like Tobey Maguire, obviously.
Yeah. Wait. Tobey Maguire goes like this: "I'm Spider-Man," and the new one, "I'm Spider-Man." There we go.
That's it. That's the difference.
Exactly. No.
But I think they didn't
true.
do that good of a job with the villain.
Yeah.
The lizard man. Crap, I'm so bad at names.
The
What's his
lizard.
name? The lizard.
Yeah.
I think his motivation wasn't as strong, and I think
Well, it's basically the same motivation that Magneto had in X-Men 1.
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
You know.
Now everyone's going to be a lizard.
Yes.
Amazing,
And I mean, it
amazing
is,
plan.
they do the story in the comics as well, but still, I mean,
Yeah.
it was okay. It was a good film, and it was an okay film. I enjoyed it, but it
Yeah.
Okay, but what about
it
this?
just meh.
But we have to agree that the music wasn't good.
No, sorry, Luke. I don't
it
care
was
what you say.
completely wrong. I think the theme.
When have I praised the music?
No, you haven't.
Okay,
I'm just-
sorry.
I'm
I
just-
don't know. Like I thought you did.
No, I wasn't presupposing.
Shoot, I'm
that you were.
just getting nervous here. Okay.
No, I was just saying that we have to agree that the music
James
is
Horner.
off.
No, I'm sorry, James
It
Horner.
didn't work.
There's
There's that one bit that sounds just like the Titanic when he's
Well, of course, it's
after
James
he's
Horner.
been
What do you
shot.
expect? That's what he does. He recycles his own music. He's like one of the most notorious people who recycles his own music. Him and Hans Zimmer, they're both like on the same platform here. They both, they just,
The music brothers.
Like it cracks me
music
up.
brothers.
It's that scene where he's shot in the leg and he's gonna like webs his wound shut and he goes to take off running, and like they totally jump into Titanic music. All I can see is freaking like Titanic going down in the ocean.
Yep.
Like I don't even see Spider-Man anymore.
Yeah, that was bad. And what else was? And yeah, Dennis Leary's character, the
cop.
chief, the chief,
yeah.
the chief.
I liked him,
The Shifu.
and it's a shame they killed him off. So
Exactly.
Yep.
That's what I wanted to talk about. Like, what? How
What a
much better
shame.
would it have been if they would have had him be there when? Spoiler: Gwen Stacy dies, because we all know it's inevitable.
Yeah.
And how great would it be that he would blame it on Spider-Man? Like, if he didn't, if he didn't know anything about does he know his Spider-Man? Would we want to keep that in there?
No, I don't think so.
Like, like then he would just blame it on, and he would be looking and hunting for Spider-Man. I think that would be cool.
Can we play a bit of the music or no?
Yeah. So the first one was so heavy with all these excellently implemented percussion instruments, because Danny Elfman, he's all about like sampling and making like
Layering.
layering and putting so many nice, because he collects drums.
Well, he also brings a lot of unconventional instruments.
And
He uses
unconventional
bass for
instruments.
an orchestra piece, which usually
Yeah,
is,
and so he had that
Very good.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And to me, that always says like it's a spider, because like 8 legs. So you can imagine a spider skittering around. Okay, so we mentioned that the theme wasn't that great, but I mean, like everything else that he did, very good. And the theme is still, I can still remember that much more than friggin' James Horner doing his. Yeah.
To me, it reminds me of like a trailer for a documentary. Like,
yeah.
look, let's go to the Amazon together. We'll find wonders beyond your imagination.
John Hamm.
Tonight, on Discovery Channel.
Yeah, and guess what? Everything reminds me of Avatar as well, like the James Cameron movie as well. Because it's James Horner. It's just James Horner. That's what
James
he does.
Horner.
Just thinking too highly of himself, and I'm afraid. Anyway,
I think we've
that
covered
was
enough
Spider-Man.
grounds in Spider-Man.
He's cracking jokes, and hopefully the second one will be good. But
No one knows.
my Stanley impression is just getting worse and worse.
You're losing it.
So then
No one knows.
we get to 2013.
And
the
here
year
we go.
are in
Iron
now.
Man 3, we don't have to talk about it. We talked about
don't
it
have to talk
way enough
Too
in
much.
the first episode, so we know how it is. Dun, 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 dun.
Yes.
And then the Wolverine. Now, let's see what you think about the Wolverine. Luke.
Luke, you can go first.
Okay. Wolverine. I went to see this in the Odeon. No, the View Cinema. And
Okay.
I spent a fortune to go see it for some reason.
Whoopi
It
Goldberg.
was, I went to see it on this extra big, huge screen that was supposed to have all this amazing extra sound. And and the only reason I went to see it like that is because it was the only showing available.
Right.
But it was like 20 quid. So I don't feel like I should buy it. I feel like I should be given a free copy of the film.
Yeah.
No, I went in not knowing what to expect because obviously Wolverine Origins was abysmally bad. And yeah, I really wanted to have a good Wolverine film. And I was excited knowing that it was taking place after X-Men 3. I thought, well, that's good. That's going to solve, not have to worry about continuity issues. That's just going to progress the story. And yeah, no, I went in and was actually I was pleasantly surprised with the film. Overall, I really liked it. I thought it told a really fun story. I know that a lot of people got a bit annoyed towards the end. They're like, "Oh, it becomes a typical X-Men film."
Yes,
which doesn't make any sense because what is a typical X-Men film? I mean, if that's the case, then every superhero film ends like a typical superhero film because there's a battle at the end.
It was handled so sillily in the end. And especially, like, look, that green lady, whatever her name was. She was...
Viper.
Oh, that was awful.
She was an underused character that could have been a lot cooler.
Well, of course.
But overall, I mean, I thought the story was actually quite fun. And the idea that guy wanted to use Wolverine's healing factor to make himself immortal and whatnot flows with... I don't know, I liked it. I thought it was a fun story.
So
and I
liked it.
I kind of liked it when he got his freaking claws cut off. It was a bit of a shock, but I kind of liked it. I don't know. It had an interesting story, and I really liked the dynamic between Wolverine and the I can't remember her name, but the short little
I actually kind of liked that one. That was cool.
Yeah, she was cool.
Yeah,
and I really liked, to be honest, the dream sequences with Jean. I actually thought was a really nice way of Wolverine resolving the kind of stuff that was left lingering from X-Men 3,
okay.
And getting over Jean so that we don't have to see him pining over Jean anymore. I don't know. Overall, I really enjoyed Wolverine Origins. I thought it was a fun film, and the post-credit scene was probably the highlight of the film, to be honest.
Even though, in my opinion, it went a little too long, that post-credit scene, and Xavier was taking ages to swiver through all these crowds.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It was that bit actually made me chuckle a bit.
I know.
He was zooming so fast as he's going around all these people. I'm like, how is he not like? How could he move so fast? It was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, I have to disagree with you, Luke. The more I think about it, I think it's just marginally better than Wolverine Origins, and by that I mean. It's okay. It's okay. It's got some good parts in it. I like the whole bear thing at the beginning.
Yeah, the Wolverine.
No, I liked it. I liked it that it wasn't another flashback prequel thing. That was nice. I'm glad it was moving things forward. I thought it was interesting that we were in Japan, but then again, I thought that was going to happen in the first Wolverine. I thought he was going to go to Japan.
No, I knew that wasn't going to happen in that one.
And I liked, Mariko character. Yeah. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was cool. I think she looked cooler with her hair pulled back, though. And then when she had the mask you put on for surgeons, I think she looked really cool with that on. I think she should have had something like that, because then she would look a lot better. Because I think the pulled back hair looks better. But then again, I just the love story just didn't work to me. I'm sorry, it was just didn't. No.
It felt forced.
Yeah, it didn't feel like they had any chemistry, in my opinion. And it felt like, he has to like her because this is part of the story.
Yep.
And for me, it also felt like the whole middle part where they're like talking to each other. Remember they're in that cabin? It's like, we kind of know what's going to happen there. But then again, to the movie's credit, I didn't know who would be the one to be the bad guy. I didn't know it was going to be the old guy. But then in the end, it turned out it was the old guy, and the Silver Samurai is cool because we all know the character. Then again, isn't the Silver Samurai supposed to be a person in a suit, or was it actually always a robot? I don't know.
Well, it is a person in a suit. They just made the person in the suit inside of a robotic suit.
Oh, like that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think in terms of tonality, I kind of like that the film took its time and it kind of immersed you in the environment in a sense. But at the same time, I think that it maybe took too much time. The problem was it didn't develop the characters, in my opinion, enough. And I think that I actually don't really like that much the Jean flashbacks, because in my opinion...
Oh, because I always thought Jean was this jerk, because I was thinking of Dark Phoenix all the time.
Yeah, me too.
So that's whenever I saw her, because she kind of had the same hair.
Yeah.
I always felt like,
but I still think,
so
like,
annoying.
Wolverine, man, like, you stole Jean from Cyclops. It's like, man, that's not cool, dude. Don't do that. And the whole time...
Sure, I mean, it isn't cool, but it is in line with the comics, though.
Right, but
that's the endless struggle between Wolverine and Cyclops, is the fact that they both love the same girl.
Okay,
yet they have to get on and all that kind of stuff.
Fair enough. I mean, I haven't read the comics, so I don't know where they're coming from. But in terms of the movies, I just felt like they were pushing that too much, especially in X-Men 3, which, albeit a bad film, they were pushing way too much, and then bringing it back now in the Wolverine.
Yeah, because we saw...
I kind of had enough of that.
Jean.
I was like, let's move on. And I understand that he was coping with it, he was moving on, getting over Jean, but at the same time, I just think it wasn't that interesting, and they could have added different elements to the story than that. And I do have to say that the ending was problematic, because the rest of the film was kind of, they're trying to be serious, they're trying to be kind of subtle.
See, that's what I think.
And all of a sudden they go over the top, and it's time for this action scene with a giant, adamantium ninja suit.
Yeah.
Has to battle Wolverine. It's like, what will Wolverine do? He has these little claws. How can he defeat this big guy? And they do a typical action scene, and then they also implement that green snake lady, and she's also battling someone. It's like two women fighting, and it's like, oh, come on, that's cheesy.
Yeah.
And at the end, he has his claws cut off, and
which was it's the perfect Hugh Jackman yell that he
struggle.
always does. Yeah.
And I don't know. And then
then again, to be honest, I like the claws getting chopped off, because
that's
a
I
different
have nothing
thing,
against
right?
that specifically. I'm just saying that whole element in the film, I think, wasn't really done that well, and it came out of left field. It was like, what? Okay, so now we're going cliche ending. All right, and then I don't know, and I feel like Wolverine didn't have that much. I don't know why he was so interested in that girl, to be honest, in the film.
Yeah.
And towards the end, it was supposed to be this heroic, knight in shining armor going to rescue this girl in the tower, and okay, I mean, I guess, but I didn't feel any of that, watching the movie.
I agree.
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
But overall, I don't think it was a terrible film.
And I agree, too.
I think it was okay. It was interesting, at least watching it in cinema. I was like, okay, this is kind of an interesting approach overall. But other than that, I think that, again, it's,
Luke, you're outnumbered 3-1.
It's okay.
Oh, yeah,
I can handle it. I still like you, Wolvie. Don't worry.
And now, what we've been doing this entire thing for
Our
was
feature
just
presentation.
2 hours in.
2.5 hours.
Was it we're going to talk about Thor, the Dark World? Okay, who's starting?
I think maybe
I'm going to
Thor
start.
can go this time.
Thor, the Dark World. Well, you know what? I actually kind of, it was a pretty decent film. I enjoyed for what it was. Okay. It's way better than Thor.
Yeah, I think it's better than Thor.
I'd totally watch this over Thor.
Yeah, I would definitely watch this over Thor as well. Still, I do not like Natalie Portman. I don't like. I like Natalie Portman, but I do not like her character. I think she's incredibly boring. It was odd because they actually made the girl who was that annoying comic relief in the first film actually slightly more interesting in this second.
I agree.
You mean the girl who sounds like Mabel
a bit
Pines?
too many jokes, maybe, but I think overall they're pretty funny. I think the jokes, they weren't bad.
No, but remember,
they were much better than
at the end
Thor
of every
jokes.
scene, she always has to say
Always,
something at the end. It's like, were those the keys to the car?
Cut.
Yeah.
A little too much.
Happened like 3 consecutive times.
Yeah.
But Natalie Portman,
but-
her character didn't really do a whole lot in the film.
No, and she was like-
mostly a damsel in distress, I guess we
get
could
that,
say, something like that.
And it's true that sometimes she behaves kind of strange, but I like the kind of nerdy, nervous kind of thing that she was going with, as the scientist. I don't even know her name.
I know, Jane Foster.
Name.
Jane Foster. Jane Foster. I
think one of the main problems for me with the film was the fact that you have the 3 warrior guys and then Sif.
Wait, who's Sif?
The female Asgardian girl.
Oh yes.
Okay.
These characters are always talked about in the films like they're going to be something great.
Yeah.
And then in both films they're incredibly underused and underdeveloped.
Totally agreed.
The thing is, I walked out of the cinema and I'm like, you know what? This is the second film, and I know nothing more about these characters than I knew within the first 5 minutes of Thor 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
and that's pitiful.
We gotta make time
Can
for
someone
Loki,
explain to me though
guys.
how Odin is back? I can't remember at all.
He got back. He didn't sleep.
I thought he died.
No, he woke up. As
I
Odin
woke
sleep,
up.
he sleeps for X amount of time, and then he wakes up and rules again, and then goes back to sleep, and then rules again, and then goes back to sleep. It's a vicious cycle.
Okay, I did like though the action sequences actually weren't that bad.
Yeah,
They're
look,
pretty entertaining.
listen,
Yeah, they were much better.
Here's a amazing development with the director of this film.
Hang on a second, guys.
We've lost our guest.
We've lost our guest. We've lost our guest one more time.
So what's your best Thor voice?
My best Thor voice. I
cannot trust you, Loki.
I cannot trust you, Loki.
I will kill you.
I will kill you,
And
and I will be victorious.
emo Loki.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
My troubles.
What do you want? No, how does he like?
You must be truly desperate.
You must
I
be
can't do it.
truly
I'm bad at
desperate.
voices.
I can't do it either.
Okay, so what were you saying, or someone was saying? You were saying the interesting
Phil.
director was something.
Yeah, interesting about the director, Alan Taylor. He directed one of the first bunch of episodes for Game of Thrones, and and I have to say, what an improvement in this film. He actually got the comedy, he got emotions, he got people talking, and you actually understand what they're saying, based on their acting ability. And then even in like the biggest, surprise was the fight scenes, because knowing what I know about Game of Thrones and watching the first few episodes, the fight scenes are the worst fight scenes I've ever seen. They are so boring and terrible. And well done, you did an improvement.
Yeah.
I'm also amazed that they didn't, I'm sure the director was going, we need some naked scenes. We need some nude people. And he got one because the naked body is so beautiful. And he was probably vouching for the Stellan Skarsgård to don't censor it. We need to see the beauty.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I mean, for me, I went in, I gotta admit, I actually saw the film in 3D.
Okay.
It was the only one, it was the only showing, and I was going with another friend.
all I
for
can
Orange
see
Wednesdays.
is extra pounds flying away.
Yes. It only cost me £2, so it was okay.
Oh, okay, then all is forgiven. The only thing you'll be upset about is just how dark the screen is and how pointless
Well, exactly.
the 3D is.
I hate 3D and its stupid darkness, light reduction.
Yep.
Pointless poo.
No good. No good.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I liked it more than Thor 1, but I just felt that overall, it didn't progress anything.
I agree
at
with
all.
you. Yes.
It didn't give me anything that thought, oh, I've learned so much more about Thor.
That's what I was
his
thinking
stuff.
during the climax. Yeah, when they were fighting the big tower thing with the portals and the things. Yeah.
Well, and of course, we have to say, I think, in my opinion, the villain, wasn't at all, interesting.
Well, he started out
Yeah, no,
pretty good.
Christopher Eccleston's villain, this dark elf. It was cool concept, but you did nothing with him.
Yeah, no.
He was just kind of there, just for a couple minutes, and it was more about Loki. It's like, okay, we've had 3 Loki films.
Loki
now.
is, he's stealing the show all the time. I don't know why though.
I like the Captain America bit though.
That was good.
That bit was quite funny, actually.
Except-
that cameo
yeah.
was a nice one.
So does anyone get exactly? So Thor. Okay, so first of all, I have to ask, what is up with Loki's powers being able to morph into different?
Well, he's a
characters?
trickster god.
That's what he is, right?
Yeah.
And he's been able
God
to
of
do it the whole
mischief
time.
and trickster.
Yeah.
How did I not know this? Weird.
Because they just started now. I don't know. why.
And so Thor doesn't want to become king,
No,
so he won't become king ever.
no.
I probably will eventually, but
He will eventually.
But
okay.
they've got probably 1,000 years to go, so they can
Okay.
wait it out.
Okay. I was just wondering about that. Yeah.
And did you guys watch the mid-credit
Yeah,
scene?
we stayed through all
We
the
stayed through
credits.
the whole credits,
Okay,
yeah.
now you got to admit that mid-credit scene does not tie in any way, shape, or form
not at
to
all.
Thor. It was like I was like, I remember
And I
watching
can't
the mid-credit
believe we're
scene
agreeing
online.
with the director Alan Taylor with this. I can't believe it. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. You're
It was
supposed to
stu-
defend
it
me
was
against
John
these
Hammond.
characters. The only one I've got on my side is the blood-sucking director.
Now, what was that they gave them? They
I don't
gave
know.
him, sorry.
I don't even freaking know.
I don't like.
'Cause I know about the Tesseract, obviously. We all know that, about
Now
that.
the thing
but-
is,
Ugh.
I don't know. I don't know because the thing is, I thought it was going to have some sort of plot point in the film.
I know.
and it didn't. It was just like, oh, we have this. We're going to give it to you. Maybe it features in the Guardians of the Galaxy film. I have no freaking clue.
Yeah.
But it made no sense. I was like,
it's
what
not
are you
the
doing
red
with
matter,
this?
right? That wasn't the red matter because that's somewhere in a cave.
and we just have Benicio del Toro acting stupidly. I'm trying to do my own quirky character. Bleh.
Did you stay till the end of the credits, Luke, to see?
I didn't, because I knew there was another credit scene. I thought, you know what, it's going to be online. I'll watch it online.
Is it
and
online?
I did. I watched it online. And
Thor's return.
I tell you what,
Yeah.
if I had stayed through the credits just to watch Thor and Natalie Portman make out, I would have been so pissed off. Like, out of all the post-credit scenes that they've done, that is by far it made me angry.
But you have to agree that I think they should have just left it with the birds and that big giant creature chasing it. I think that would have been fine.
That would have been fine.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
That'd be fun.
It would have been a nice little chuckle. Not freaking them making out for a minute.
Yeah.
That was just, maybe
It's kind of also.
I've returned, woman.
Yeah, I don't know what really the point of that was, but okay.
What else can we say about the
I
story?
think I would say maybe
Loki dying. We all knew he's not going to die.
No, Loki. I guess what's interesting is that I don't know exactly where they're going with.
Though
him.
that did trick me. The whole switcheroo
I got tricked
thing.
as well. Did you get tricked or no?
Get tricked on what?
When he cuts off Thor's hand.
Oh, yeah, I know that bit. I was like, oh, whoa, crap.
I was like,
what are we
okay,
doing
well, I
here?
guess he's gonna get some kind
Yeah,
of.
and I was thinking, okay, he's going to be a villain now. Now he's going to go
Yeah.
into another film, and then we're going to kill him off finally
Yeah.
once and for all. But then again, they did the switcheroo, the old
Which wasn't that bad,
switcheroo,
I think. I
which
mean-
wasn't that bad. And then the problem is now you empathize,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, we empathize with Loki more because he's actually kind of helping a little bit, and so.
But at the same time, he was a bad villain. I didn't like him that much in the
No.
Avengers. I didn't like him in Thor. And
The only reason you
wasn't
didn't
much
like
of-
him was because of his function as being a bad guy,
Yeah.
right? Otherwise, he's okay. Like, especially in the third film, he's all right, I think. He's
third film.
in the third Loki film. This is the
yeah.
Loki trilogy.
The Loki trilogy. With his Loki pokey stick.
Thor 1 Avengers
his Loki
and
pokey
Thor
stick.
3, or Thor 2.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. Like, I don't know what the goal is really with Loki. Is he gonna be a good guy now?
I was
And-
really hoping they would put an end to Loki
Yeah.
in some way. And it's
Well,
a bit
you know what they
annoying
should
that
do?
it
They
didn't.
should start making other villains that are just as memorable. If you could call it memorable.
You mean at least multifaceted?
Yeah,
I guess you could
because
say.
it's always Loki. He's the only villain that keeps
Loki
popping
pokey.
up all the time.
Yeah.
They could take any, like Obadiah Stane could have still stayed alive,
Yeah.
or
You'd be like a billionaire owning some rival
or
company.
I don't know,
Cigar
see,
company.
See, there aren't that many villains that are that good. They need to start working on
They need to
that.
start working on that.
So I guess that was Loki. It was yep, that was Loki.
That was Loki.
That was Thor. Thor.
But I have to say though, like I haven't watched a movie in like maybe I don't know, a couple weeks now.
Yeah, the
So,
last
so
one we
for
watched
me, I was
Wolverine.
like pretty forgiving. I was just watching. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So I don't know if that has
Yeah.
any effect to what I might think about the film later. But I think for now, at least talking about this Marvel universe,
Yeah,
I think that it's okay. You know what I mean? But
they have a fanfare now.
unfortunately, I can't say anything more. You know about it.
Yeah.
I can't really say.
And also a little bit about the special effects. You know, people tend to when they do CGI, they usually like being liberated. Usually, the directors aren't that young, so they haven't grown up with all this wonderful technology, and so whenever they're looking at shots that the effects artists are doing, and so the effects artists themselves could do this as well, you know, like they would probably implement this as well, is where they have action scenes taking place in fake places like Thangorodrim. Sorry, no.
Asgard.
That's Silmarillion. Asgard. They have all these quick zooming and the camera's speeding everywhere, going through ships and going up into this. And then when things explode, it's just one shot. Let's go to the next explosion. And then just like whooshing around, right? Being all crazy. But then I was watching this film, and to my very eyes, at the end of the film, when they were in London, right? No, it was Greenwich.
It's London.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here to tell us these things.
Yeah, it's that building, that place where they filmed is where my housemate works.
Hey, cool.
Oh wow, nice.
It's like 10 minutes from my house.
Nice. And so when I was watching that scene at the end, because they were filming it for real, for the most part, of course, they would take their cameras and they would film this plate photography, you know, to put the CGI in later, right? And when they do that, there's totally different rhythm to it because, like, they have these still shots. There's the building, and there's the big thing coming in, and you just see the building there, and the camera's not moving around. It's just, oh, there it is. It's destroying stuff. So you can see all the detail of how they are destroying things, and particularly, this is what always happens in every film, not just Thor,
Tour.
not just Thor. is where they crash into cars or some physical effect that they do on set, like a practical effect.
Yeah.
They usually have multiple cameras, to film in different angles. So someone falls into a car and the car breaks down, like it just gets squished by the impact. And they have the car shot 3 times, like they show it in 3 different angles.
Takes, right?
Yeah. And it's so slow just to show you, look at this awesome destruction, right? But the thing is that they're taking that into the, they're looking at this through the real life lens of, that was a real effect we did, look how amazing it is, as opposed to looking at it in context of trying to pretend that everything is real in the first place. And by that I mean that if you're filming stuff in Asgard, try to do the same thing, right? Try to put multiple angles in the virtual camera and show an explosion 3 times. It doesn't matter if it's CG.
Yeah.
So far these things get really realistic. And this, with the technology and everything. And I just don't like that we're watching Asgard getting destroyed. Like, all these explosions happening, these spaceships, they're so big and they're crashing into, these pillars and everything. And it just goes by really quickly. And then you cut to a guy falling onto a car and we get 3 shots of it in slow motion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Choose one style of how you're going to shoot it, and then I think it'll be a lot better with the continuity. As opposed to, look at this great stunt that we did.
Yeah.
With the practical effects.
Stunts are
Sorry,
great.
that was my little rant.
I agree.
Went a little too long.
I think you got a point there, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. I also liked the scene at the end where the action is over and they're all in the apartment.
Yeah, that was pretty
and they're
good.
all eating lunch. I know it's kind of like the shawarma scene in Avengers, but I always, for me, I always like the juxtaposition between fantastic things happening and then what happens afterwards. Like, what's the day after? I like that kind of stuff, and I think they should.
Yeah, no, that scene didn't bother me at all. It was just
like
the makeout scene.
The makeouts.
My love.
My dull love. Ugh.
Yeah.
You'll be a princess of Asgard.
Okay, we've done it. We've successfully made it through all of this stuff.
I don't know how.
Amazing.
At the length that it took Peter Jackson to get the hobbits, the Fellowship to break apart.
The theatrical version.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about what we're gonna see in the future.
Was Captain America the Winter Soldier? Marvel's taking away their numbering system.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good point.
And going with subtitles.
Because you never know how many sequels
aren't the best.
Yeah, I don't really like subtitles too much.
Feel
I don't either.
The Dark World.
The Dark World didn't really make any sense. Well, it made sense, but it was a bit kind of a redundant title.
Yeah, because the Dark World
have that much to do with it.
But ultimately we're just gonna say Thor 2.
Yeah,
we're never gonna say Thor Dark World. Have you seen Thor Dark World?
Yeah.
So Winter Soldier looks pretty cool because it's Captain America doing Captain America things, and I think he can do things. Yeah, and it's in present day, which is nice.
Yeah.
And it continues off from Avengers, which is cool, and just like Thor 2 did, but that wasn't very emphasized.
Yeah, the only thing that's too bad is that I wish that Black Widow's hair was the same.
Oh yeah, her hair is horrible.
It does look a bit odd.
It's just like what's her face's hair
Shield.
in the Shield TV show.
Help us out, Luke.
I hate that show.
The lady from Avengers who was like Nick Fury's like.
Oh right, yeah, no, her. Yeah, they did something funky with her hair too. Agent Hill.
Is there some kind of a horrible fashion week going on in Shield?
Trend at Shield is long straight hair.
All women must have crap hair.
Yeah, and it's not even tactical. That's my problem.
Yeah, I don't like that
not
either.
tactical. Oh well. Anyway,
yeah, it looks cool. It looks interesting, I guess. Amazing Spider-Man 2, Luke. What do you say about that?
I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say it's gonna be a bit of a dud.
Yeah.
I think it's like I've said it a few times, but like the fact that they've like cut Mary Jane from the story, the fact that they cast, filmed and completed these scenes with a character and then were able to cut them from the film because they didn't do anything for the film, just shows that the story itself is obviously not very strong. And the fact they keep throwing all these freaking villains and people in, and like they're still filming it, they're still casting. It's just like, what are you doing? Like seriously, like I at first I was excited, but at this point I've lost all interest in Amazing Spider-Man, despite him having the proper suit and all that kind of stuff.
His new suit does look pretty good, though. I think
it does, but I'm just
we're back to Spider-Man.
I'm not amused.
Yeah, and then X-Men: Days of Future Past.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty freaking excited about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna see how
the trailer
that
was
goes.
before Thor, and I was
nice.
freaking loving it.
It wasn't for us. We got crap. We got
Hunger Games 2.
Oh dear. I had Days of Future Past, and I had The Hobbit 2.
Oh really?
Part 2. Yeah. But no,
That's so funny
Past,
because we didn't have any.
No.
Like we had the dumbest, most dull trailers.
Hunger Games, and then we had.
See, it was so dull.
Let me think. It was really forgetful. Forgettable. I mean, just wait like 1 minute.
Oh, that robbery movie with Christian Bale.
Yeah. No, about
Fakery.
yeah, artist
Fakery with Christian Bale, and it takes place in the
Forgery.
70s and 90s or something.
Yeah.
And it has Jennifer Lawrence and that one guy, Cooper guy.
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper.
I really do not like Bradley Cooper.
Well,
He's so
apparently
overrated.
everybody loves Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence together. It's so beautiful. Have you seen Silver Linings Playbook? It's apparently the greatest film ever. I have to watch it apparently because it's so good.
It's gonna win Oscars.
It already won Oscars.
Really?
Jennifer Lawrence
Oh yeah.
got like an Oscar because she's so good. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's what we had.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Days of Future Past sounds cool. I'd like to watch it. I want to see what's going on. Excellent.
Yeah.
We can talk about that for a long time, especially because you and I, Luke, we have some kind of history with that. Yeah.
X-Men
Aha, yes. But
and
you
our
know,
stories.
yeah, it's great. Cool. Guardians of the Galaxy.
I don't know. I don't have any excitement for this at all.
I don't know anything about it.
I don't
to be
either.
honest.
I don't either. I just
apparently
know
there's
that
gonna be
it's
this quirky
there.
comedy thing, and they're
Oh, it is.
Guardians
This is
of the
not.
Galaxy.
That's Avengers 2, right? No, it's different. See, I'm so lost with these names.
Avengers 2 is Avengers: The Age of Ultron.
See, that's what's confusing. And then this one's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. And then later on next year, we're not even going to talk about this anymore because it's already over. But I'm like, Fantastic Four reboot. Yeah, who cares? Don't really care. It's just the only thing that we talked about this. Never mind. Forget it. Age of Ultron. Yay. Sure. Whatever. Yeah. Wonderful. Good. Meh.
Yeah. Let's
Right?
hope it's good. I would
Yeah.
hope that it's good. I
know.
the only Marvel film I'm really excited about is Avengers: Age of Ultron in terms of their cinematic universe. Other than that, the only thing that's like grabbed my interest of late has been it was just it's Days of Futures Past. Everything else has just kind of been there.
Exactly. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yep.
Much. Yep. And Ant-Man. Well, I mean, it's directed by Edgar Wright. I mean, I
I
saw
like Edgar Wright.
Yeah, and Edgar Wright. He talks like this.
I'm made spiced.
I can't do it now.
Yeah,
I can if I listen to him, but I can't do it now. It might be good. I mean, I saw the yeah, me too. I saw the preview Comic-Con little clip that they made.
Yeah, that was quite fun.
Yeah, I can see how it would work. So
Yeah, I agree. It could be fun. I would hope that it's good.
And that concludes all of our Marvel musings. I hope you had fun listening to us talk semi-professionally. Not really, but
Stanley, you've been taking too many meds, haven't you? Your voice is...
He's starting to
man.
deteriorate. Yep. Mm.
Oh, so that was that.
And if only they made a Marvel one-shot of all the Stan Lee characters meeting each other.
Hey, I was
A librarian.
Yeah.
I was a librarian. I didn't even know that Spider-Man and the Lizard were fighting each other on the other behind my back. Yeah, and I wasn't on the guest list. Can you believe that? And I told
Enough
Captain
said.
America. Yeah. I told Captain America that he should just get his number, you moron. And maybe one person can make a difference. Enough said.